everyone, and welcome back to the FizzGun Fireside Denver 2025 International LAN. This is day 2, and we have got so much more exciting TF2 action for y'all. It is going to be the rest of playoffs, going almost all the way into grand finals, but we're going to save that for tomorrow, so stay tuned. But today we've got so many great games, and also yesterday there was so much exciting stuff going on. We had all of the group stages, so if you missed that, definitely a worthwhile to check back on that. And last night we had the very first playoffs game, which was Froyotech versus BLT, aka the Balls team, and the result might have surprised you. I highly recommend going back because it was potentially an upset win for the Balls team against Froyotech, and it was amazing best of 3. Highly recommend. But if you liked that at all, if any of that interested you, we've got some more TF2 headed on just right now, because up next, in just a few moments, we are going to have the upper bracket semifinal. And behind me are two teams that have traveled a long way to get here. They have traveled oceans, they have traveled continents, they have traveled the distance to get here. One of the first international TF2 LAN events in North America in such a while, since Rewind 2, and it's such a joy to have both of these teams here. Of course, they're competing to try and be the first spot. To do that, they've got to win this matchup right here. On my left, over on the red side of the stage, we have got Witness Gaming EU, the best team in Europe. They have been dominating the scene for so long, and they tried to face against North America previously. They didn't quite win it. Froyotech were able to beat them, but here they are coming for revenge. They've been playing together. They've looked so locked in during the group stages. Every single one of them has got the caliber. They are high-level players, and they're here ready to execute. But another storyline that is equally as fascinating is over here on the blue side of the stage. We got Witness Gaming Australia. That's right, the two Witness Gaming teams are going head-to-head in the upper bracket semifinal. And, I mean, Australia, it's always great to have them here. You know it's a real international competition when we've got Australia in attendance. And, for the first time since Jasmine T, we have been so fortunate to have them, and they've been looking so good. If you haven't seen the group stages, Australia has been showing up. They have been taking no prisoners. They've been leaving nothing out, and they have been committing every single time and performing beautifully. Of course, here versus Witness Gaming EU, it's a bit of rivalry here of the two international teams coming together. They're both sponsored by Witness, who's done fantastic work to help bring both of these teams over. But as well for Australia, this is, they're trying to break the curse. I don't have to say it, 4th place. A lot of people say, is that as high as Australia can get? Can they get on the podium? Obviously, these guys want to come here, walk away with the win. They know they can do it. They've got the skill. They've got the talent. Even if some people might be doubting them, there's some few predictions thrown around before the LAN of where Australia is going to be, and I think they've already well and truly smashed that. But before we get too into things, if you're like, you're an NA burger like me, and you're like, I don't know what these teams are. What do they do? Who are they? We've got some fantastic analysts to break it down for you. I'm going to send it over to the analyst desk and get ready for the upper bracket semifinal, Witness Gaming EU versus Witness Gaming Australia. Take it away, analyst.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's day 2. I think everyone was very excited going into yesterday. A lot of big expectations for what we were going to see. And I can only speak for myself, but I do think a lot of people would agree that those expectations in many ways were met and exceeded. We saw many very hype games, a lot of upsets as well. I mean, who would, in their right mind, would have thought that of the teams in the losers bracket after round 1, the name Froyotech would be there, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of, we should introduce ourselves as well. I'm Wild Rumpus. We have Delta Market and Benpul on the couch. So yeah, I guess first things first, overall thoughts on day 1 and how things were going there.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to describe that was exceeds expectations. Just every single game was so competitive. Like you said, that best of 3, 4-3 on Koth, 2-3 on Metalworks, 2-3 on Sunshine. It's just what everyone wants on LAN. There was nothing that was assumed when you saw those games. You did not know who was going to win.
Yeah, it's a weird one, right? Because there was that game. Obviously, that's going to steal the show, right? That was one of the best of threes you can get on LAN, going all the way, especially like seven rounds on Koth as well. Like, it looked like Ball's team had it for a moment, and then after losing their pick, the underdogs come through and beat the mighty Froyo Tech. Like, I was remember we were on the desk before, right? Before that game, we can all say we did not expect that one was coming.
No.
But like, it wasn't even just that game. There was the other games earlier in the day. Like, the Australians beat Froyo Tech early on. The Australians against Witness, this rematch that we're getting now, that was also like a really hype game. And yeah, like, there's been, I don't know, there's so much parity. Like, you've got all the best American teams, plus like the other two amazing teams who are like continent dominating in the world, and you put them in a room together, and it just creates magnificent TF2.
Yeah.
And as it's so great, because coming into today, we've got best of threes all day, and then we've got, of course, the best of five over on Monday. But like, it brings out the best in these teams, getting them on LAN, and we're really starting to see that, I think.
Yeah, and you were totally right. I mean, at a certain point when we're talking about, oh, that map one for Balls, they really wanted to win that. That's their map pick. And then the second that it cuts off, the smiles disappear, and we're like, all right, time to go watch another Froyo 2-0. And then little do we know, not only do Balls team keep it close on Froyo's map pick of Metalworks, but end up winning. And then through a absolute slaughter, or not slaughter fest, but just duking it out, fist fight style on Sunshine, are able to pull it out.
It happens on LAN though sometimes, right? It's like LAN does bring out the best in these teams, and when they're put under stress, when they're like, again, they're losing their pick and they're really up against it, like, it's some players, it brings out the best in them, and yeah, the Bulls team, it would work. But I guess maybe should we move on to the game we're covering now?
Yes,
And we can talk
absolutely.
about that game all day. That was a phenomenal series, but I guess we should maybe move on to the
So the two
European-
witnesses. I think on paper, Europe has usually been considered a stronger region than Australia and sort of Oz Fortress in general. So with that in mind, it's pretty easy to think of EU as having the upper hand here. But honestly, both these teams play pretty different styles, all things considered. Australia is usually a very chaotic, DM-oriented region, and Europe is a little more thoughtful in how they approach fights and things like that. What are your guys' thoughts on what we might be seeing here?
Yeah, I think you can't really judge it too much just from like what we've seen in the past by like either I-49 or the other I-Series where we had Australian teams show up. Usually they ended up in fourth place, but I feel like here it's a little different this time. In the past we saw them, like you said, very DM oriented, but it's a little more than that. It feels like they really love taking dry fights and even Uber fights when the other teams are just not so comfortable doing that. And I feel like it's a little less than just pure DM, but more putting other teams in situations where they're just not used to having to play at that pace.
Yeah, one thing I want to add as well, like surrounding that and like the pace. Obviously, we've seen games yesterday of them, and some of the scrims were streamed. We had the show match and stuff between these two teams, and like, I don't know. I feel like by the time we get to this stage in the tournament, I almost want to kind of throw that out of the window to some degree, because these teams, it's okay. This happens anyway at LAN's teams build into them, but these teams have traveled literally across the world to get here. They have gone so many hours of time zones. They can be jet lagged. They're playing new configs, new maps, new like rule set if you're the Europeans. Like, it's so different that these teams are just getting stronger and stronger and stronger at such a fast rate. Like the Witness Australia team we saw yesterday, it was not the same team that we saw in the show match or in the scrims beforehand. And they are just really like, they're living up to it so much, and they are really, really feeling it. And it's great to see.
I think that's a good point, actually, with the config changes. We're going to see a lot of the games in the first day that we saw were upset wins, but upset wins where the winning team maybe didn't have so much momentum at the end of things and were more sort of sitting on their laurels from the rounds they got early on. And with a continuous overtime where, for anyone at home who's unaware, rather than the map ending when the timer hits zero, when the timer hits zero, now the team in the lead just needs one more round. So retroactively, the score limit is adjusted. And with that, basically, you have to close out a round. But the point I was making is that this is a config that Oz Fortress has been using somewhat recently, but ETF2L hasn't adopted. So you have to wonder, as well as far as weapon bans and unbans and whitelists there, OzFortress, again, is more similar to RGL than ETF2L is. So you have to wonder if, while EU on paper is a stronger region, if the Aussies might be more comfortable on the config and the rule sets being played today.
Yeah, that's a really great point with the config change. Sometimes whenever you see the continuous overtime come in, you can see teams just play a little bit differently. And on LAN, I feel like that's only magnified.
Yeah, we'll hear the.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be throwing it over to the casters now. But exciting games. Get your predictions in the Twitch chat, and we'll see you all over there.
What's up, chat? Welcome to day 2 of the Saigon Fireside Denver LAN. After a phenomenal day 1, what do you think? I mean, it was poetic, honestly.
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone expected the ending. Actually, throughout the entire thing, I think the sentiment was that G6 was probably the lowest of the 4 teams, and
Yeah.
Froyo would be in like the 1 and 2, and they have had a fall from grace. They lost to Witness Gaming, EU, AU, G6, and then last night with like the longest, craziest series, they lost to Ball's LAN team, and they are instantly in the lower bracket, which is going to be a lower bracket demon for the teams in this series. If they lose this, you're not going to get an easy matchup necessarily. You might get a Froyo rejuvenated, demoed up, ready to see what you got.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Froyo fall into the lower bracket so early, especially after playing 7 matches of Team Fortress 2, just to have it all go to waste and fall into the lower bracket is probably not the best feeling going into day 2, but talking to Habib, it sounds like the vibes are reinstated, they're back to normal, they have the idea of what the game plan is, and they have nothing but first place on their minds, just like Australia and Europe, which are the 2 teams we're going to be covering today. I believe we're on Process or Snakewater. I'm not 100% sure what the map's going to be. I did not catch the bans. I don't know if you know offhand.
I have not either, but no matter what we see, I'm very curious to see. A lot of these teams have been fine in favoring these Koth maps, where I think, like I said, the general sentiment is G6, they are the bagel team, and I think Viaduct is kind of open to teams to take.
Yeah.
I think last time I saw Europe was probably ahead in the scrims they've had, but scrims are scrims. As we've seen, they don't mean that much to everybody. But with that being said, we got some good series coming up here. We're going to have at least 3 rounds on stream. You're going to see a couple different casters, a couple different people on the desk. But overall, what are you thinking for this series?
I mean, I know yesterday that we covered the Australia-European game, it was a 2-1 on Process. It was like neck and neck. We saw a couple interesting plays from the medics, couple interesting deaths, but hopefully we have a little bit cleaner combo play coming into this. Definitely had some advantages in last pushes that were kind of thrown to the void on both sides. Little scrappy TF2. So going into this match, I still want to kind of give the slight edge to Witness Gaming EU. They've kind of always had that consistency, even at LAN. You know, they struggled less against some of the mid-table teams that we've seen, like QMD or the SOAR team, I believe. They just had a little bit of an easier time coasting through, while Australia, still looking dominant against those teams, had a couple struggles, had a couple closer games than probably what they would have expected. But I still want to give Europe the edge here. They could definitely go a 3-map series. It's going to be extremely hard to tell. It's hard to give a prediction with these 2 teams, especially just because it's the first time I'm even witnessing them play on LAN since yesterday.
I see what you did there. But with all that being said, I'm riding for Australia. You know, I want to see the Aussies come out, and I think a win here would get them closer to making sure that 4th place is not even an option. It's like we want to break that curse. They spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of the people's money fundraising. But like we were saying, this should be a great match from yesterday. That was a nail biter, just 2-1. A 2 or 3-2, something really close on Process, where I could see both teams kind of letting that through the pick ban and being like, okay, you pick it. Because both teams had their moment on it, but I'm really excited to see. I want to see a Koth. I want to see something new. I feel like we haven't seen the full map pool necessarily at this point.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple bans that teams are just like completely avoiding on. Like obviously G6 with Bagel. We've barely seen any Bagel. We have only seen Viaduct a handful of times, Sunshine once or twice on stream. So it'll be interesting. Snakewater, known to be a little stalematey, and obviously coming into day 2, compared to what you guys saw for a majority yesterday, minus the Froyo Balls team match, we are now in continuous overtime. Now it is, throughout all the stops, you have to be able to break these stalemates. You have to be able to close out these runs. You have to be a closer. You can't just let the time just expire. You have to figure out how to sack, figure out how to off class, figure out how to find some form of impact to be able to get into that last and finally close out these rounds. So we could be in for a nice long day at Team Fortress 2. We're going to have 3 amazing matches coming up here. It looks like we're waiting on one more person to join the server. Yeah, I believe we're having a small tech issue. I don't know if it's audio, video, or peripheral, but we'll definitely get inside the server as soon as possible. But what I want to ask you is, Ab, after day 1, if you had to build like a pseudo all-star team, not playing against a team, pick your 6 like individually talented players. Like, who would you put as like, your all-star team?
I'm going Jay. Give me Jay, because his performance was phenomenal. I'm gonna leave the flank skid out for now, but for Roamer, we're gonna go. Ooh, it's tough. Let me think. Maybe I'm gonna go. I'll take one of the Aussie soldiers. We'll take down one. I'll get a little more variety in there. Pocket. I'm gonna take Kobe.
Fair.
Demo. I'm taking Logan. Logai Medic.
Wow, put a little G6.
Who's the first seed right now?
That's true.
The first seed.
That's true. So, mine, I was thinking about it after the LAN or after yesterday. I think Silvo is still my go-to flank scout. That guy is unbelievable, and I know Jay's playing combo scout, so that would be my duo right there. I'm gonna have to. I had Banny originally, but just in good faith, I can't right now.
Well, who won?
That's true.
I do want to see that rematch. I want to see the Balls versus Froyo rematch. I don't know if it'll happen, but that would be a very interesting game.
Roamer, I'm going to go a different approach. I'm going to take Soapy. Just something about his play style. That's also my boy. I'm a little biased on Soapy, but he's also just extremely goated. Pocket, I'm also going to take Kobe, Logan, Logai. I mean, I just think that the combo from them is just so powerful.
The demos on this LAN are insane. But yeah, overall, really looking forward to this game, and we're going to be seeing it a little bit. But like we said, there's some technical issues, so we may be thrown into a little break, and we'll be back once we get that all figured out. It's LAN things. It'll happen.
Of course. It always happens. So we'll throw it to a small break. Once we get the okay to go back live, we'll hopefully kick it to some awesome gameplay, because I would love to see some gameplay, but we'll be back shortly.
I think comparable to Cookie's history, I think Enrith is maybe similar in terms
I think
of...
Enrith started in L 10, 9, 11.
11.
Oh, so I started before Enrith then, because my first season was L 10. So it was called the Ozfortress Winter League back then. Division 6.
Damn, you guys are old.
Played in a team. Division 6 was the worst one, by the way, so like, really in the leagues there. I played Scout still, under a team called Too Young to Drink.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we're going to be getting started here right away on this middle.
Let's go.
So we are starting. We are in the server right away with Lucas shooting some stickies out. Both teams kind of in a normal position. A soldier in the kitchen jockeying for position. They right away get a soldier down from Australia, and Europe looks like they're in a dominant position just to start this, and they just give up the mid just like that.
Yeah, I mean, despite missing the first 10 seconds of the mid, nothing super eventful happened. Poppy just found a kill onto down, and they just ended up surrendering after that. Other than that, we have Lucas trying to get some damage poking from the bottom area, looking for some sort of area to get their flank in since down is still rolling out. Even Ubers on both teams, obviously. It looks like the Europeans are trying to get in through lower. Hugo going to be bombing in, getting onto Lau, going to hit one rocket, not going to find anything outside of that.
Yeah, and like we said in the last time we saw them, both medics were kind of having some little slip-ups here, and I think this is going to be a big thing is which medic can kind of play these scenarios better, and just a great job from Lau there, not getting forced. But once again, that clock is going to be ticking, and the main thing we want to emphasize is they need to be able to break stalemates to make a win happen in this game, unless they're just rolling people over.
Correct, yeah. I mean, in Snakewater, kind of known for its a little bit tougher choke points to fight through. So it's really going to come down to how Poppy and Hugo and the flank on WG Europe are able to try and find the win. Lucas actually going to overextend a little bit, trying to get some damage in through Saul, is going to fall to Connor. And now you have the flank from the Australian, Silvo and Down, respectfully, trying to get in through their own kitchen here. But again, they are going to meet Poppy and Hugo. The Ubers are still even right now.
Down's in. Down's making a lot of space. A pick onto the scout, and Australia has taken mid off of that Lucas pick and completely switched it around. There's a lot of damage still out, but with Toe being down, that is going to allow a very, very good sack wave from the Australian soldiers. And what we've seen so far is they love those two-mans. It looks like they're going to walk towards lower with the combo, and the flank is going to start working through Saul.
Yeah, I wish we would have seen an Uber exchange from the Europeans, but other than that, we're going to see Connor trying to make some space with Down, going to try and get onto Auto, going to eat a little bit of damage. Still on Auto, going to eat another damage, but Tomas going to clean up Down, protecting Auto at all costs.
Yeah, got a little sloppy there, but once again, one soldier pick is not going to be that much to work with. So it looks like we're going to get back to the scenario, and are we going to see again that Silvo sniper, another soldier sack? And this is where the regions will have their different preferred ways to break these stalemates, where I'm curious to see what Australia opts to do. It looks like they're going to opt to switch off onto an off class here. We're going to see that sniper rolling out.
Yeah, I want to see what Silvo's going to be able to do to try and break a little bit of the stalemate here. You know, this is a good opportunity for Witness Gaming Australia to try and get a little bit of space creation here. Other than that, Witness Gaming EU kind of just playing it slow, trying to just set Lucas up in a good spot to find the combo. No real information kind of being given to the Europeans, though, about where Witness Gaming Australia is. No one's really peeking Saw, playing very passive and reactive right now. Just one soldier spamming lower. Hugo getting ready to shut down any doorway if at all possible.
Yeah, and we saw Silvo on Sniper in this exact matchup last time, and he was making things happen. And it's going to be really on him to make something happen. They got 2.5 minutes to get a pick, otherwise we're going to get round reset. And from that last mid, it doesn't look like Australia probably is at least that dominant at the moment. But it was one mid, so anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, eventually at one point in this match, I do want to see some sort of maybe push lower, try and walk in their sniper, walk in Enrith to try and get a little bit of damage out. But again, Silvo trying to get a little bit of a hero shot, and Hugo trying to make sure that never happens. So Silvo, this is just such a tough point to try and snipe on unless you don't have you need some sort of space lower to just try and draw some sort of attention from the Europeans to get them just to spam somewhere else. But again, Enrith Lucas almost getting his wig taken off here. But Silvo jumping all over the map, trying to find an angle, not finding anything.
The Uber's coming through solid, the combo. They're going to take a trade in, and this Uber's going to force a lot of flashes. Hugo going to get it behind during this, which with the sniper up from Silvo, Silvo's going to need to hit a shot here, or it's going to look pretty sketchy for the side of Australia.
But Hugo actually in behind right now, and Auto, super low, Lau super low, gonna fall, Cookie gonna find one as well with Connor, frags going away off all directions, Silvo gonna fall, Down gonna fall, Connor gonna find 3 of this fight, Lucas trying to find a way through, and Tomas and Connor, it is a 1v1 currently, Ixie trying to collect some health packs, Enrith trying to find any way to survive, it's a 1 versus 1, Is Enrith going to try and press this advantage here? Trying to find a way to take down Ixie here. Ixie trying to capture the control point here, but better spawners coming in for the Australians. Enrith fighting a little bit more off than he can chew, and Ixie going to find that frag. And again, here comes the Europeans barreling forward to try and fight through this door here. Enrith not able to deny these doors, trying to fight Ixie, but not good enough in the 1v1.
Yeah, Enrith really just needed to live there, and now it's going to open a door for Europe to retake mid and maybe get some more picks. There goes one soldier.
Auto,
Medic
Connor.
down. Great bomb from Connor, and Connor really just having a great start of this map.
For real, I mean, what a great opportunity. I mean, again, everybody pretty much falling on the side of Witness Gaming Australia, but Connor had a great opening while the chaotic fight was happening, and Auto walking through the door just at the wrong time, not baiting just hard enough, and gonna get 2 rocketed down. But again, they are super passive on the side of the Australians, sitting on bats, pretty much building, gonna secure their Uber advantage. About 80 ad here.
Oh, yeah.
Witness trying to find some way, or the Europeans, excuse me, trying to find some way to just get a good trap up for Lucas.
And so far with Europe, you're really not going to see too many crazy flank pushes. As I say that, it looks like Europe's loaded up in that kitchen, potentially ready to push behind. But it looks like Australia sniffed it out. They pop right in, get Hugo down, and clear out the entire flank along with both soldiers. And I think one scout might
Backcap.
be behind. Yeah, the back cap coming out, pulling players back.
Oh
Uber's
my.
not straight up, but 3 people
He
back.
still
but
finds
Ixie
one.
Gets air shot and still finds that one pick. Enrith getting picked off. The Uber's not even out for the side of Europe. They're just taking and standing on this mid, getting the forward spawners in, and this is a massive play. Even if this cap comes out from Australia, this Uber could be popped instantly and turn this fight around if they go. Soldiers coming in high, they're taking the ground, and Europe looks like they're gonna take this mid free and maybe get a pick onto Kuki as well.
Kuki overstaying his welcome, and again, Ixie coming up absolutely massive. Even though he had 3 turn back for him, he still ended up getting 1, dying in a blaze of glory. But again,
Hugo gets caught, and Enrith down too.
Hugo and Lucas gonna find kills onto Enrith and Connor as they try to run away to their own last. This Uber might even out here as they are gonna try and spawn camp a little bit on the forward spawn. Witness Gaming EU a little slow to cap mid. Enrith's gonna take forwards as well, looking to probably just end up going back to last here. And again, this is probably where we're gonna see our first major stalemate. Snakewater last, impossible to push out of, extremely hard to find forces on, an off-class, you know, just superstar map essentially.
See, what I'm surprised about is a lot of times, and for those who aren't completely in the know, Europe, and I'm not sure if Australia, but Europe has been really big about banning like the battalions, the detonator. These are all these off classes. The only one we've really seen come to play is that lock and load. Now I'm curious to see, are we going to see something like a battalion's backup? The man treads, things like that to break the stalemate. And now we get to see how Europe is going to go about breaking this.
Big
Hugo
bomb.
Giant bomb, med cut out into spawn, no damage, but a really good start. Tomas in for the counter, Ixie gonna go down, and they're gonna trade 2 for 1 and just reset the scenario. Actually, Poppy down too.
Oh, Poppy gonna try and get a little caught in as well. So this is probably your best opportunity to push out here. Lucas has pretty much 1 chance to find a kill here. Enrith is just barreling forward with his combo as Down is about to respawn. Uber's gonna to a trap on the boxes. What a disaster. Instead of just popping early and having the guaranteed better Uber, he's going to try and milk a little too long, and Tomas absolutely just dominating Silvo and Enrith in the post tube. You're going to be barreling it in top left, full buffed almost, getting his team. Come in top left. Not going to clear the close right though. Soldier going to land on top of the combo. Going to find Lucas. Down going to fall. Poppy going to pick up 2, Ixie going to find 1, but again, the manpower from the Europeans is simply just not enough. And unfortunately, the round is going to fall for the Aussies, but we do have a technical pause here. I know Cookie, so we do know the reason of the big delay, which we do apologize earlier for. Cookie was having a tech problem with his monitor. It ended up having to get a PC swapped out 3 times.
Yeah.
But currently, a very hectic round. Very good from, Lucas finding a key trap to take down Lau. I wish Lau would have just popped Uber just a little bit earlier. They are already up 3. I just feel like there's eliminate any risk possible to just a disaster or a blunder. And unfortunately, the 1 in 100 happened where your medic ends up dropping in such a key moment.
And medic being so important, that single misplay is a round over just right away. And that is one of those things, like, playing medic, that's a lot of mental stress on you. That one big mistake means everything everyone else did is kind of just canceled out right away. That was a pretty good push out, and then that sticky trap turns it around, and we're really going to need to see some mid-wins here. The silver lining for this is compared to yesterday, that clock really does not matter for this game.
Correct.
The only thing that matters for is when we're ending it. But if they're down when this time's up, that's fine. They just need to close out the game. And that is what we were talking about. That's the thing we want to see from these teams who don't run that continuous overtime config in their region.
Exactly. I mean, 1-0 is not the end of the world. You still have 20 minutes left to play. And again, Witness Gaming, you still have to find a way to clinch the last round once that continuous overtime does kick in. If I'm Witness Gaming Australia, brush it off, is what it is. You had an unfortunate moment. But kind of, similar to what we saw yesterday, though, Marmalou, where we did see some medics, have some unfortunate drops, unfortunate deaths, within 90% Uber. And we're seeing it again here today where we've had multiple deaths. Well, not multiple, but one key death that costed the round for Witness Gaming Australia, whether it was lack of clearing traps, whether it was, lack of just knowing where everybody was. Lau unfortunately ended up having that Uber dropped, resulting in the Europeans to take that round.
Yeah, and just to give some context, we do have the pick bans now. Both teams banning the Koths in the first round. We're going to end up seeing Snakewater, which is Australia's pick, Goalie Wash, which is Europe's pick, and then last we're going to see Metalworks, which this is their pick. And you always say, and it's a lot of times people do win on the other team's map picks. Australia really wants to start the series with the map win on their map pick and start convincingly. And with only 9 minutes passing, there are many things to do. We have not seen everything both these teams have in line. But now that WG has that round when they can kind of start relaxing a little bit more, not be as stressed. But they do need to remember they do need a round win to end this game. They can't just wait for the time.
Exactly. I mean, and these teams are so close in skill level, it literally just comes down to like a key kill or a precise main call from your combo scout to just slowly dictate the fight in your favor. That's what I love about these two teams, and between this team, G6, the Aussies, and Froyo as well, the top four are so close in skill. G6 obviously is slowly coming out ahead of most, just because with that clinching the first seed and obviously kind of dominating the Australias yesterday in a pretty dominant 5-0 on process. So it was tough to see, but G6 kind of showing that they're slightly a cut above the rest. But these two teams, I would like to say, are honestly probably the most evenly matched in the entire venue right now. It has been a 2-1, 3-4, 0-1 after a 10-minute round. It's awesome to watch. And again, if you're not at the venue, I apologize. Just the energy when people are standing behind, when someone hits a fat air shot, everyone's screaming, going crazy, everyone talking mess. It's just a great time. But hopefully you guys have a great viewing experience from home. We again apologize for that small tech delay. Hopefully we figure out what's going on with that. I'm sure production will update us shortly on what that issue might be. But so far, it's been a banger of a map one.
Oh yeah. And, on the note of being at the LAN, you do get to hear the occasional stickies, the big call out from Big B in the corner. But
yeah,
right
Big
now,
B with the stickies.
Yeah, Big B. But right now, this, like we said, is going to be a very, very important match. Whoever wins this is going to get a top 3 secured position.
Yeah, so this is winner
semifinals.
semifinals.
If they win or lose the next round, yeah.
Correct, yeah. So this is big for Australia because, I mean, how I see it, being the quote-unquote 4th place cursed team, this brings you to winners finals, and G6 is actually currently still in a 1-0. Just so you guys know, if you're not paying attention to the B stream,
there's a minute left.
It is a 29-minute 1-0 for the ball team, which, again, this is a prime position for the ball team. If you can mid to last G6 currently, we'll kind of give you like a pseudo radio cast until this game is kind of kicked back in. But so far, it's kind of just sitting at the mid for the G6 team right now. Logan going to actually get picked off, going to pick off a couple people on the ball team, Soapy in behind. But, I mean, this is scary if you're G6 just because, God forbid, you get mid to lasted and you drop a map to the ball team. This was a worry that me and Marmalou were talking about. That team is a heat check.
Oh, yeah. They have the talent all around that if you are not ready, they will just punch you in the face. And that's what we saw with the Freya team. I don't think they probably were thinking that they were that much of a threat. But it looks like we are back, unpaused, and we're going to be back in this game. Hopefully we got that all figured out, and we are all good as we go back into the game again.
Yeah, so not too bad of a pause. Just so you guys know, that was a 7-minute. And we have another tech pause.
But from the other side.
This time it's from the Europeans. We do apologize.
Gosh.
Oh, you guys got baited so hard. You guys are so pissed. I know it. I apologize. I know you guys are pissed. I apologize, man. But we should get back here momentarily. This time it is on the side of the Europeans. But again, So G610, Froyo Tech is currently playing against the Kawa Grape Juice team, where they kind of run full-time Pyro a little bit every now and again, where Habib somehow... Oh, production. So apparently Froyo probably
Froyo
already
won
won.
map 1 at least.
Yeah,
So
Froyo
map 1,
probably
map
already
2.
won map 1 or map 2. But Habib was playing Soldier somehow, some way. Patty was on Scout. I don't know how that happened, but more power to him. But we are going to get you guys a little log check on that while we have some downtime here. So it looks like they did finish Snakewater, a pretty dominant 5-0. Banny kind of having server admin and running around 23-5. Brand Slam 22-9. Patty, even playing Scout, still managed 9-17. But good up to Froyo. They're gonna come out big here and clinch the 5-0. Definitely needed for their since their performance yesterday. Hopefully we could see them get back into that top 4 seed area.
Yeah, and just so far, hopefully we get back into this game soon. But
yeah, we need to get into this.
It's going to be a very important game. Like we said, securing this win gets you that top 3 right away. I don't want to like minimize Australia to that level, but that's what they're going to want. They want to at least have something like, and we're back, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like we are back. We do apologize. I don't understand. Hugo is talking about the American-sized portions, but we are going to talk about this American mid here with our 2 foreigners here. Ixie trying to just get some chip damage. We're going to have a Soldier jump into the other team's kitchen right now. No real aggression from either team right now. Everyone's kind of a little bit too passive. No fades yet. Again, we are going to have some initiation. Big bomb coming out from the Soldiers on Europe. Going to find Lau immediately. Down and Cookie going to trade him out here. But again, this could be scary, though. If you're on Witness Gaming EU, you're going to have one more fall. It is currently 3v4. The Australians are going to secure their mid win, but at what cost, though? Lau is going to fall. Died pretty early in the grand scheme of things. They are going to be able to taxi him forward pretty quickly here, but the Europeans already in Saw, looking ready to go. Tomas looking to get as much information as possible. Where are the traps? Where are the Soldiers standing? Trying, if at all possible, to get any information for his team to get in. Lucas actually, the first one in, and Otto going to get forced on Catwalk. Big bomb from down all by himself. Said, I'll handle it, guys. You guys can sit back. And that's the only casualty.
Yeah, just a great, a classic leapfrog mid. You sacrifice players for the medic and you pop back into mid. The ad is not that great for the Australians, where to see a repush, it's going to be a bit weird, and down being down is going to give them a little more time to chill out. And I'm curious to see, are they going to take this Uber in, and are they going to kind of get caught out by how close Otto is going to be to this Uber? And this is a map where you are going to see this leapfrog a lot. Are people going to milk it? Are they going to pop straight in? What are we going to see? They're going to kind of go towards that catwalk area. A great job from the Soldiers on the side of
Oh my god, what a grief! Oh my god, Down just killed his own teammate and shot stickies into Enrith. Gonna stop the push. I mean, that is just the absolute blunder. I mean, this is gonna allow Witness Gaming EU to pressure lower as much as they want, pretty much for free, while they try to bait out the Soldiers on the Australians. Tomas, oh my god, he is just running forward. They just took it completely for free. No Uber exchange, no bomb, no nothing. Blowing up his own teammate is crazy. Obviously, accidents happen, but again, Witness Gaming EU already in lobby, already looking to sack.
Well, that's the second big mistake that has costed all the momentum in favor of Australia, and you can't keep having that. A scout in, 3 players trying to get Ixie down right away. They're going to trade out for down, but it looks like 3 players will be going. Oh, that Soldier might just barely get out.
Poppy barely lives. Oh, Poppy actually is going to get chased. Cookie going to find it. Again, this is the same exact situation, quite literally, where Lau dropped. So let's see if they're going to be able to trap. Literally the same trap that killed Lau last time. They are going to clear it. Lau safe and sound. Lucas Tank putting stickies on the point. That's what you like to see. But again, maybe an exchange coming out. Tomas kind of telegraphing it a little bit as well. They do not want to get this point for free. And here it comes. Tomas maybe. No, but both teams kind of indecisive on what they want to do. Tomas going to take big force coming out from Hugo. Going to find it onto Lau. Hugo is going to fall, obviously. But the Uber is so much better for the Europeans here. Going to chase all the way in the bats. You have Tomas and Ixie trying to find frags. Lucas finding one. Ixie going to foul, and the cap does end up actually coming through from the Australians at the end of it, though. But picks are going to be going towards in favor of the Australians. The Europeans chased a little bit too deep into lobby and ran into Enrith, finding a kill. Tomas going to clutch up and come in through catwalk and 2-shot Lau and absolutely salvage it for his team.
Yeah, I was about to mention Connor getting the pick onto Otto, massive, and then just right back. Tomas comes in, kills Lau, and once again, Australia is on the back foot, and they just cannot get a break at all so far.
It's a shame.
They're going to need to make something happen. Connor and Down have been coming up large, but just something wrong keeps happening, and it is just a absolute just vibe killer every time you're having something go well, and then it all falls apart. But the 2 fight is going to be happening. A big bomb coming in from the soldiers on the side of Australia. They're going to be pushing some of the players out. Both teams kind of fading, trying to vie for some space. Both soldiers are in on Australia. Get down Lucas, but they're going to trade 2 for that, which is not going to be enough. They need to get a kill to get some equivalents in here, but it looks like Australia's going to try and leave. Silvo gets a trade with Hugo, at least.
I mean, again, 2 for 1 on the demo. Demo is obviously a very valuable class, but in the grand scheme of things, soldiers are the dictators of pace in the game. And again, the flank already in on the side of Witness Gaming. Ixie gonna fall. Poppy gonna find Enrith. Great trade. Again, a 2 for 1 demo. Not the worst thing in the world, especially on, when you're pushing into the other team's last. But again, this is just going to be an opportunity for Witness Gaming EU, get their bearings straight. We are going to see Silvo and Cookie on their off classes. And again, how are the Europeans going to break the stalemate? You see Silvo jumping in, already in, on to Lau. Lau completely unprotected, 48 HP, going to get to the health pick and is going to survive. Tomas and Hugo going to fall. Little scary if you're the Australians that allow a little unprotected there. Is going to surf the rocket. Someone needs to get to him just a tiny bit faster, but oh man, just a little lucky that Hugo and Tomas were not able to find the shots necessary to get that force off.
Yeah, and I want to see, are they going to pull it an off class, or they're just going to keep sending 2 and 3 mans, which so far they haven't had that much success, but I do like them being more proactive about these scenarios, getting things going, not wasting any time, especially with this 4-minute timer. You don't have any time to just mess around and slowly walk in. But Tomas taking a pipe right away, and we're going to see Poppy and Hugo looking to find another sack opportunity. Usually what's going to happen is they're going to look to take that gun down, and as soon as the gun goes down, they're going to send 2 to 3 people in for this medic. And this medic's entire point of this position is, since there is a sentry gun, Lau can stand there. As soon as that sentry dies, it gets a little sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, this is a near impenetrable last hold here, so it's going to be hard for the Europeans to get something without eventually having to take an exchange. Silvo going to find 2, actually going to kill Hugo and Poppy as well. Again, we are in the same exact position for the 3rd time. Again, Lau and friends are already pushing towards the point. And again, another 3-man. I don't know really if it's an intentional 3-man or if someone's just biting off a little bit more than they can chew. But again, no real threat to Lau on these last pushes so far. And again, Witness Gaming EU taking a 3v5. The flank is going to slowly get in through Saul. And that's going to be Ixie taking a lot of damage, as well as Hugo kind of getting stuffed on the Saul side of the map. But again, Witness Gaming EU is still looking to fight. Big bomb coming in from Hugo onto Lau. Oh, he would have hit that rocket and got the drop. That's Poppy, excuse me. Gonna get the force out. And again, Witness Gaming Australia just cannot find any sort of advantage in this game. They have something, but whoa, fast Uber coming out of Saul. And Hugo gonna find Lau. Tomas gonna find Cookie. We need to get this cap as soon as possible, though. We already have Tomas on the point, or Ixie, excuse me, on the point. Lucas and Tomas gonna find kills again. And again, it is Enrith and a 1 versus a billion, essentially. And again, oh man, that's just another situation where the Australians had a player ad and just cannot find a way to get out of Snake last.
Yeah, and so far Europe on top, and we've been saying this over and over again, but Australia just can't seem to get everything together consistently. Something goes wrong, and it's an unfortunate heartbreaker, and this is going to have to be a very important mid. Like we said, time isn't the biggest crunch right now, but when you get behind these rounds, you can't be making any of those mistakes anymore. The more and more they're behind, the less mistakes they can win. And Ball's Cup team just beat G6 on map 1. That is insane. But going into this mid, we're going to see, are we going to see another double bomb to take out the medic of Lau, or are we going to see a more slow mid down right away taking that high ground? Double bomb coming in from the side of Europe. They're going to try and make something of it. Down in on the mid, a lot of damage already out. Gonna get the kill on auto. 3 traded from both teams. It is gonna be a 3v3. Right now taking a 2v2 with these scouts in kitchen. Both scouts trade out. And it's just gonna be really close. Tomas, 2v1 and lower. There is no Lucas to help out in this situation. And Toe very barely is gonna get cleaned up without Connor going down.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas just was a little bit too slow to come back in there. Again, no really fault to himself, kind of just the limitations of the class. No medic, didn't want to just kind of put himself in a bad spot, which I do agree with. Keeping himself alive so Witness Gaming EU can kind of bounce back pretty quick here. We might be seeing a version 2 mid-fight here, maybe, possibly. depending on what the Europeans would like to do, it's possible. Looks like we're not going to see any sort of shenanigans coming out from the red team. But again, the Australians are doing something that I like a little bit, trying to poke lower a little bit, trying to get Enrit set up here. I noticed that when the Australians have some sort of advantage, they're not very proactive in that I would like to see. You know, like Enrit was just in lower, completely safe, had an opportunity to maybe poke a little bit, and they just go back to mid.
Yeah, I think they just want to reset, get the exact sack they want. And like we said, every region plays these a lot different. Like you'll see NA get really aggressive, which to their fault sometimes it does not work. But
Correct.
with Europe being more leaning to that 2 and 3 man, I'm curious to see, are we going to see a sniper again from Silvo? It has not had any success today so far, and it's just going to be draining the clock. And I want to see Connor and Down have been having really big bombs. I do want to see them giving them an opportunity to make a play. Make your playmakers, make a play.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the playmaking from Hugo has been amazing this game. I mean, he has been kind of a thorn in the side of the Australians here, finding forces pretty much almost, I would say, over 70% of the time. And honestly, kind of just sacking solo. Down going to get killed by a sticky trap, trying to go for a high bomb over the window, is going to die. Poppy in the skybox, high in the sky, deep to left field, is not going to die, though, unfortunately. Enrith is actually going to fall to Tomas. Tomas actually kind of just ran it up here.
Ixie's in. Oh, it does not connect the beat shot. So much damage. Gets the drop. And there goes Lau again. Just a blunder. They're going to clean up some players. It's just going to be this player behind trying to force a back cap. And it's going to be catches a bow. And this situation is over. Soldiers in.
But, oh, down! What a rocket! I mean, it's insane how just the medics from both sides just find a way to just end up exploding, just getting so greedy, milking that rocket. Had a clear advantage going into this, but the Australians got something that they needed. Down, putting Auto in the dirt after Ixie just had a amazing save for the Europeans, dropping Lau, but again, a +4 in the grand scheme of things, both medics dropping, just to be in the same exact situation we were just in with even Ubers.
Yeah, well, a slight add, because Lau died so much earlier, we're going to see them try to peek lower, make something happen, and as they kind of get further up here, this Uber's going to start ticking, where if EU gets a little too close, they can turn it around, but right away the sticky trap onto Cookie is going to shut all of that down, except they could maybe get the soldier pick. Poppy just barely getting out. And Australia's going to pop through Saw, trying to catch everybody, but the only player they may catch...
Lucas.
Lucas is so weak. He gets a kill. He gets killed. 2 players down.
But look who's also behind as well. Poppy, 8 HP behind. Ixie going to find Silva. They need to kill him ASAP. They do. Down's going to find that kill. But again, massive, massive Uber advantage for Auto here. Pretty much going to... might even out here if they build effectively here, just because Lucas is dead. Poppy got a pretty late death as well. This is a great opportunity for Witness Gaming Australia. Again, could see an off class. Is it a spy? Could it be a sniper? Could we see a heavy in the post Uber? Banners, something you were talking about earlier. Not a lot of unlock abusing, obviously, with some of this stuff being banned in different regions, but it is going to look like it is going to be a fight here coming out of the side of the Europeans. They are going to bomb Lucas, but whoa, look at Silvo, going to draw some ice here. Huge one. That's a key. That's a key 1v1. There's going to be 2 going back to last. The flank of the Australians going to get onto the point. Silvo and Down trying to find these kills. Poppy and Tomas going to come back and save it for their team. But again, full Uberad now coming out of the Australians. How does Europe respond? Or do they go back to last? Do they try and pressure for the force? It looks like they're going to go back, reheal. Insane flank work from Silvo and Down, almost securing that round. But there's a lot of cap time on last. It is going to starting to diminish. Do you go fast if you're the Australians? Take advantage of the cap time before the gun gets set up, before Tomas gets an aggressive angle here.
Yeah, and just insane play. Love to see that. And it's going to be the situation they need to execute. They're going to pop through that shutter, get the gun down right away. We're going to see some cap time coming out. A big bomb from Enrith, shoving people into the spawn door. The cap needs to be abused. The heavy coming out, and it's slowly looking like it's going to
Point's good. Point's good.
So much time. They're going to get damaged, but the player's not good enough on the side of Australia getting picked. And Enrith maybe getting picked along with Lau. Big pipe might actually allow for Lau to escape. Whoa, 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 whoa. No way.
I hate this so much. I just hate it so much. I just hate it so much. I mean, I like the idea, but like, it's not like not Shade-esque. Little Shade-esque, but man, I very late death from Lau. It was cheeky, but man, they're not gonna have the medic on 2 here in the grand scheme of things. Unfortunately, Lau trying to get a little cheeky with the back cap. Silvo looking to set himself up for some big things here.
But it's gonna be an angle.
It is an
Walking through,
aggressive
I don't know.
angle here.
I don't know. He walked out. He walked out of spawn. I don't know if he realized he walked out of spawn. He's going to be committing.
He did
again.
it!
He doesn't realize he's going to be
Oh
out. At
my.
least he gets out. And the sniper on bats or anywhere he goes is going to force Europe to pop in. They have to use this Uber unless they're really going to test the sniper, which it's a risk. They're going to pop right through Saw, the demo bomb coming in. And knowing this situation, Australia does not even have to be in 2 for that force.
Yeah, I mean, another crazy little push there from Silvo out of the spawn door, trying to get an angle, overextending, but is going to survive, thankfully. This is going to give the full Uber advantage to the Australians. They are going to pop in. They are sitting lower from the side of the Europeans. Otto going to take a ton of damage, and Enrith is going to find it. Down and Connor finding kills of their own, but there is a 2-man back half from the side of the Europeans, and they are going to end up getting it to 3-0. Hugo and Ixie, this flank that has been a pain for the Australians, continues to just wreak havoc, finding these angles to go behind, finding these kills onto Loud consistently, and again, a 3-0 game with 6 minutes left.
Just whatever you can do, they can do better, apparently, right away. Getting that back cap and closing the round out, that is another heartbreaker. Every round they've been losing has just been a big blunder for Australia. And Australia, this is their map pick. They want to be able to turn this around, and we've seen moments they just have not been able to consistently string them together to an actual round win. Right away, Hugo once again playing in the enemy kitchen. Gonna be a little bit annoying, but right away down, gonna get picked, along with Otto getting killed by Connor. Connor coming up big in a huge wipe.
Wow.
For Australia.
I mean, Hugo kind of telegraphed that jump, kind of got shut down pretty immediately. Didn't have as much impact as he normally would. I believe that was Silvo who kind of shut him down quite quickly. But again, great mid win, very dominant compared to what we were normally seeing on these mids for the Australians. But Otto here, obviously dying that mid, going to be at 0% Uber. Luke is still down, so no traps in lobby for the Australians. And we are going to see a pretty quick last push here.
Uber coming in, once again, they need to make this happen right away, investing into that cap. 2 soldiers in, a great flash. They should be able to clean up 1 player here. A big bomb gonna get Otto on the spawn door, and that is a beautiful push. It's still a 4v4. This is winnable. The Heavy with 2. The Heavy on the void. And right away, even with that scenario, Europe still hangs in there, and Australia cannot be letting that happen. 2 full ad or big ad positions. But Lau is actually going to be able to get out here, which will allow them to stay on middle. But okay, I was going to say the crit still, Auto switches back to Uber charge, and we're going to have a 30% ad for Lau, and Europe is just going to concede, go back to last, not risk that scenario, and they're, right now, having confidence in your last hold means that you can have these scenarios. You don't need to force something. They want Australia to show them they can succeed on a last push, and they have not demonstrated that ability yet so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. I mean, they needed to kill that Heavy 3 seconds ago when they were on that last push. I would have liked to see a little bit more of aggression from the explosive classes after that bomb from the Aussies. But again, they are going to go super fast. Tomas not able to get off a sniper in time. Silvo going to die to Hugo during that. But again, the health on the side of the Europeans is so bad.
They need a cap.
But there's no positioning from the side of the Australians. The Ubers at spawn! The Ubers at spawn from Otto. No one's ready to go yet, but again, another blunder, and they're not able to find these kills around the point. Otto was in spawn with Uber, but they were not able to clean up these kills fast enough again for the Australians to finally get another round. It is still a 0-3 game, 3 minutes on the clock, and Witness Gaming has no signs of losing a round to the Australians this match.
They force Lucas into spawn the entire time, and no one's getting that cap time. The win condition is you need to cap, the other team's getting Uber, but right away, Europe is going to be taking mid with this Uber. They might pop in. They're actually getting some space. Australia playing really far back, but a great force coming in from Connor. And this repop is so close. A lot of damage from Lucas, and the repop is right around this corner. They could get caught out by this demo put up if they're not ready.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We're not expecting the repop here, but somehow Otto is barely going to sneak out. Oh my God, do they know? They know.
He's the corner.
Oh my heavens! Okay, he's dead, he's dead. But again, another terrible collapse from the side of the Australians. I just don't get how they're not able. A Uber that is just astronomically better time-wise, and they're not able to get these kills. Again, both medics gonna fall, and Witness Gaming EU still finding their way alive in the grand scheme of things, even though that they didn't even positionally-wise look super ready for that repop.
No, and they all sold out for that medic pick, and things are going on other places of the map, and Europe can do no wrong in these big fight scenarios. It's even Uber's onto 2, just a 6v6 drive fight. Both teams going to try to vie for this space, and it's going to be, can Europe get in through this lower door and win that soft fight? Right away, Lucas taking some damage, going to get bombed. Lucas completely alone, caught out, and that's a big demo pick to start it off with.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you need if you're the side of the Australians. And again, please, we have been seeing these pushes that are dry without Ubers go usually pretty bad for the Australians here. So how are they going to respond to that demo pick? Again, Ixie going to find down in Saw here. Witness Gaming EU again just killing Connor as he gets in the mid super late. And again, another situation where a dry fight, even though Red does not have a demo, Enrith going to get a key kill onto Ixie, and Silvo going to help him out and kill Poppy as well. This is exactly what the Australians needed to kind of just keep their 2 intact as best they can. It's looking like a stalemate situation here as both soldiers from the Australians roll out.
Yeah, and with all this being said, the minute is left. This game is most likely going to be first 2-4. That being, Australia needs to make a complete full sweep. Europe is in a comfortable position, but you can't get too comfortable. Even when you have the lead, you have to kind of put your foot on the neck when you need to. You cannot just wait for a scenario to happen potentially. If there's an opportunity that you can go with, you need to make something happen. Europe gonna opt to walk through that lower door. They got 2 minutes left in this round timer, and they're gonna try and set up a sack, but the spam from Australia is not giving them any room to breathe.
Yeah, I mean, this is a grade A position, especially with Silvo dying here as well for the Europeans. I mean, if you're going to win this game, if you're Witness Gaming EU, this is exactly what you want. A flank player dead. And again, completely leaving from the Australians. They want nothing to do with their ace up the sleeve. Silvo getting picked off a little earlier than expected.
There's some stickies on the floor. Hugo trying to get through the shutter door, but right away both soldiers on Australia blocking it out and not allowing for a clean sack. But Europe taking over that shutter door, gonna get through a big bomb on the soldier. Soldier's in, and he gets the drop onto Lau in the moment of need. Lau gonna go down, and all it's gonna take is Otto and Tomas to just pop the Uber and close it out. And this is an impossible fight for Connor. 50% still as Uber. Connor needs to come in, and Connor is going to, unfortunately, be in a rough situation in Lau, just another tough scenario.
Take your time, Tomas. You are slowly on the way to make yourself an international legend here at Saigon 2025. Slowly but surely taking down Connor and bringing it home for his team. A pretty dominant 4-0, and I mean, the Australians, man, were making some key misplays, and it's unfortunate that we saw drops that we did. It's unfortunate that we saw, you know, post-Uber collapses that we did. We're going to be pulling up the stats for you guys momentarily. It was a pretty slow, modest game. No one in the 300 DPM just because of the way that the stalemates were. But again, in terms of just killing people and doing a great job, that is Tomas. Again, I talked about it yesterday being one of the driving forces and best players on Witness Gaming EU. Tomas, 25 and 11, doing exactly what he needs to do as a combo scout. And again, Ixie as well, just a cut above the rest on, compared to the flank on the Australians that game.
Yeah, and just with the mids, looking at the numbers themselves, Australia with a 3-1 mid, they won more mids and they still did not get around. We say the most important things in the game are mid fights, last pushes, and those last pushes crucially just did not ever succeed for Australia. They could not get the cap time, they could not get the kills. And if you can't close that around, you can't win a game, especially with teams of this caliber.
Exactly, and remember, some of those mids that Witness Gaming AAU was winning, it was when Lau actually gets killed off super early, where Hugo and Poppy end up getting a pretty big double bomb, and they just say, okay, give them the mid, reset. Kind of similar to what we call it in North America, that you're very known of, is the skis mid, where you just guarantee the kill on the medic, reset, go back in.
You know, that did begin with the original Witness Gaming NA. When skis was on Froyo, the strategy was literally double bomb the medic and have leave with yours. And it is a valid strategy. The problem is it's going to, you basically sacrifice a point to get Ubrad to then take it, which if you can make those transitions work, then it's perfectly fine. But the key thing we want to look at right here is 3 drops from Lau. And on the big stage, it is a tough thing to do. I could not play medic. That's too
I know, it's definitely stressful. I mean, I'll give him the benefit of doubt on the one on second where he died to the trap.
Yeah.
Maybe no one saw it. Maybe it was just bad timing. But the 2 other drops, especially on last right there, and Ixie running in, just creating a ton of just annoyance. Unfortunately, I wish we were able to see those Ubers. Could have been converted into rounds if your team is just alive, ready to just get the force out from Witness Gaming Europe. But again, a great 4-0. I love Hugo that game. I think he had some amazing, impactful plays. Got a ton of forces out from Lau. Lucas as well, proving that he is a top caliber demo in the game. I mean, absolutely just dominating in the server. 15 and 10, 250 DPM, and a pretty slow game is not too bad at all.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of the soldiers had some good moments. Connor with a couple big moments. And I think the main thing is whichever medic and like Team K have support, their medic the best is going to win this series. Right now we saw Otto, I think, had a lot more support, a lot more situations where wasn't put into a position of danger.
Yeah.
And with this next map, that was Australia's pick. And if I'm not incorrect, I think the next map is Gully Wash, which was
scary.
the Europeans' pick.
Which is scary because with how Hugo and Poppy have been playing, I mean, Poppy top damage in the server, I think just the value from the soldiers. Down and Connor as well, I think are easily probably where we were the better players. They had a lot of key moments. I mean, you saw Down on 2 just destroy Auto and get that drop. That was very needed. Unfortunately, didn't convert to anything just because Australia was not able to find any sort of just forward presence. No matter if they pushed last, couldn't figure it out. They were just inches from securing multiple rounds. This could have been a 4-2, a 3-2. It could have been a 2-0, a 2-1 if Europe or Australia, was just able to be a little bit more consistent with some of these pushes.
Yeah, and that's the one thing with different regions. Maybe in Australia, that map is one they just dominate on. They do the same thing every time and it works. And just Europe playing it differently. Maybe they're not covering as many things as they usually would. Maybe in Australia, they decide to kite out of spawn so they can get the kills. Well, Europe is fine with going into spawn. If you're not going to force cap, they're not going to force any jumps in. And going into Gully Wash, I'm curious to see. We're going to see a lot of these explosives have chances to make big plays. There's not as much open space. We're going to see a lot of more slow, chokier fights and mids that can just be explosive. Teams going in. You can go for the medic. You can pressure the demo. And demos can have a single-handedly dominant mid to just win a round.
Yeah, I mean, and with how Poppy and Hugo are playing, I mean, they are definitely some of the driving forces for, European, with Hugo getting immense value with his bombs. So that's kind of worrying, especially on a mid, like Gully Wash, where one soldier bomb can literally dictate the entire round. This is arguably one of the worst maps to get mid to last it on.
Oh, yeah. It's the last push is pretty good. And, yeah, once you get mid, fighting 2 is hard from a disadvantage. You need to get through the shutter. You need to get through the bats. And this is one of those mids that can be so volatile, and the rounds can flip back and forth. And if you're Australia, you want to see a number get on that board. You want to get a round. Yeah. You want to get the feeling of it. It is the first match of the day, and you need to get comfortable. If you're just in a situation where you're maybe a little off tilt because something's not going your way, you're doing all this stuff, and then something disastrous happens. Enworth gets caught, somebody gets picked, a med gets picked. You need to see things go your way and just start getting into the flow of it. Because Australia was a dominant team in their region. That they can put this all together. They just need to start getting rolling.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, Witness Gaming Australia needs to find some sort of advantage here. I mean, I do want to see them take a round in this best of 3. You do not want to be the team that, especially that was expected to do very, very well, just kind of get washed by your fellow top 4 competitors. I mean, Froyo G6 was close. Witness Gaming EU, AU last time was very close. Froyo versus every top 4 team was pretty close, minus the Europeans, where they kind of got dog walked a little bit.
Yeah, especially after that was a beating. Especially we were talking about the concern about closing maps out, and they just didn't let it happen. They got to 5. And that was a Snakewater game. They showed well on Snakewater. So being Australia, you had to have seen that and said, we're better anyways.
Exactly.
And with that showing, I don't know if we can agree with that at the moment.
And they picked the map, too, which is even more concerning. I mean, Froyo Tech, at least from North America, it's always been a pretty strong map for them, Snakewater. Snakewater and Sunshine is a pretty consistent map for Froyo. I mean, and to just kind of get 5-1'd on a map you're usually pretty comfortable on, seeing the Australians pick it, I was a little shocked once you told me the pick bans, because Witness Gaming kind of looking pretty strong on that map.
Yeah, Witness Gaming and G6 looks like they're the favorites of this event so far. And Australia, they're the team to make something happen. If Australia goes in the losers bracket, they're not going to get a free run back at WG or G6. Froyo is going to be waiting for them very, very soon. if they get sent down. And you don't want to get sent down. There's a bracket demon down there. A pissed off Froyotech might be a recipe for disaster in this scenario.
And again, don't forget that Ball's LAN team also just took a map off of G6. So
not just a map, the first map, and that was not their map pick. We're now going to see a Viaduct.
Viaduct, where they almost beat Froyotech.
Oh, yeah.
Another map where Froyotech has historically been good on.
G6 as well on that map earlier in this event. So I don't know, Ball's LAN team, it's in the name. They're a LAN team. And we're going to get started here with
enough about
Europe
these balls
versus Australia.
Enough with the balls talk. Hey, let's get right into this first mid here. The only thing I'm trying to see is how Enrith is going to absolutely dominate once production kicks us over to the mid here, as we are going right now. So again, both demos arriving to mid at a pretty steady time. Enrith and Lucas pretty much dead even. We're going to have pretty early aggression here from the Europeans. You're going to have Poppy actually in a pretty nice spot here, right by the enemy team's elbow here. But again, the soldiers coming out from the Australians. Tomas gonna take them down quickly, but Otto is gonna fall to Silvo. Kind of just ran across the point and just muscled his way through, bullied his way to the main stage, and took everything from the Europeans there. But again, it is just Silvo, 1 versus 3. Everyone's looking for him. This guy is a 5-star wanted criminal right now.
Yeah, but he has the disguise on right now. I don't even know if they know he's gonna be here.
Little push.
And it could be big, but he's going to see the front of the scout first. Get some shots in, but it's not enough. Going to get shoved into the locker, and he's going to go back into the respawn time.
Yeah, I mean, again, Silvo had a great mid, ended up getting his man, got Otto. Very key pick. But again, Tomas finding 2 soldiers extremely, extremely early. So kind of stuffing the initial mid aggression from the Australians and going to eventually go into favor of the Australians here.
Yeah, just both teams kind of sitting here, relaxing. Europe is going to be in big door, going to try and peek. We're most likely going to see some lobby pressure, but there's a player already waiting there from Australia. And seeing how, they're already behind a 2v2 on the flank. Silvo's going to go all the way back to spawn.
This is not good for Australia.
Yeah, you need to be able to deal with these players behind, but as soon as they get the claps, Silvo wins his one. And he might get a 1v2 in this scenario. Just trying his best to get it. The help comes in, and they're going to get the 2 players behind, and it's going to be an opportunity for Australia to get in. But that flank push right now, the Australian flank on top.
Yeah, very good for the Australians there. Oh, yeah, big trades. This is good for the Australians here. They have a little bit better Uber for the Europeans. I like this, pushing past the Uber and gonna find Lucas lacking. They completely flipped the map on the Europeans. This is what I like to see, this aggression. Enrith is gonna fall, but at what cost? I mean, they are still gonna pretty much have this dead to rights, but Otto gonna kill Lau across the map with an arrow. You cannot make this up. Every single time the Australians have some sort of advantage, it is stripped away. This time it's from Otto. He wanted a piece of the action. He was tired of healing Tomas, watching him kill everything. He wanted a bite, man.
Connor getting picked off late, but yeah, that's just a heartbreaker. In the back of your head, if you do all that and then it's just all gone, you're gonna start assigning some blame. Maybe not verbally, but in your head, Silvo gonna be up on that sniper, gonna try and make a play happen. But I think Europe is too drilled on this. I don't think they're gonna let their men get picked off. Poppy gonna clear out this choke. There goes
I
Lucas,
like this.
and they're gonna instantly get in the force. Lucas going forward, gonna try and bait someone to kill him. But everyone gonna just be exiting the second from Australia.
Yeah, I mean, Silvo in jail, essentially. I mean, if he finds a kill here, I don't know, I'll tank my credit score. That's how confident I am at Hidnock finding a kill here. But again, you have the Europeans, again, 10 ad here. Is Lau going to be able to stay alive and get the super? They are in spawn, making sure no tragedies happen. But Tomas on the point right now, trying to find a kill. Tomas actually, excuse me, gonna fall out. It's Ixie on the point. Hugo gonna find, Uber's gonna get popped out. But again, Lau and Otto still pretty much no Ubers after they just exchanged here, but the red team, the Europeans, are on the back foot, running away, no one behind. They know everyone's in front, which is good. The Australialians, great job from Lau to stay alive there, but look at this. This is an interesting timing here. Oh my heavens. Oh, but almost gonna win this one. Oh, so unfortunate from Poppy. Almost hits the little midi on the down there.
I saw the vision. There's like the 50-50. Do you turn and try and kill the med demo, or do you go for the round one? And he just very barely messed up the timing.
Oh, I like that.
Comes in and blocks it. And it's a good opportunity to go for. And right now, I do want to see, are we going to see a battalion? After all the, he's thinking, he's messing around, and he is on
shotgun, maybe.
No, I think he might be on the paint train or something.
Yeah, I heard the, I mean, this is some geek talk, but I heard the in-game, like, loadout weapon swap, so we'll see.
Unless he's just sitting there, just chilling out.
I mean, if he gets hit for his 5 damage from afar by a scout, it means he's on the pain train. That's a fun fact if you guys don't know.
Yeah, the little damage increases. Somebody's already on point. It's going to force a lot of people to go back, and the rest of the EU should be going off this advantage. A sentry gun down right away is going to allow for these soldiers to make a play. Down with a 1v1 in water, trying to get Ixie away, and the chaos is already starting. You want some relaxation for Australia. They're going to trade 1 for 1. The water is dealt with. Soldier jumps in, Hugo down, 4 up on the side of Europe, and it looks like they're going to concede, reset the scenario, and Australia can take a deep breath and breathe.
Again, we have about 2 minutes left in the initial round time here. Poppy is going to find Silvo here, and Cookie is going to eventually get that trade. So not really that. Oh my heavens. Oh me, oh my. Oh, they didn't see him. Okay, I was a little worried about that. Tomas immediately taken care of, dealt with, brought out back, and taken care of. But again, the Australians in a good spot here. You know, comfortable on last. Nothing really happening here. But again, I have not seen a single spy play from either of these teams this entire lane.
It's really just been Banny. I don't know if anyone else really has gone spy.
Yeah, it's weird.
Banny's used it a lot. But once again, we're going to probably see them going to try and get that gun down. Do the Froyutech pressure cooker, as we call it in NA. The whole goal is you get the gun down, you get someone in water, and you are peeking every door until something goes wrong. You get the cap time, you get a pick, you get a force, and it puts a lot of pressure on everybody on the side of the defense to make the correct play and do their job. A lot of damage. There goes the dispenser, a very high value pick.
Yeah, it's huge. That's like 5 players, but we are going to get some half cap from Ixie here. So he's going to go back in the water. This is how the pressure cook starts. Now you're like, oh my God. Now you have to go back and forth. Here's more cap time, but Ixie is going to fall eventually. Uber is going to pop out, though, from Poppy. And again, well executed, pressuring every door. Ixie getting the cap time, Poppy getting the force, spam coming in from balcony, people peeking lower main. Even in the top level of the game, it's so hard to deal with. Maybe a pyro would have been good to maybe shut down the doorway here. Again, not really using all 9 of the classes very effectively. Now, as we say pyro, Silvo is going to jump up on that pyro to try and help deny the Uber.
Yeah, you just can't let that gun go down. As soon as the gun goes down, everything just gets destroyed. Uber's going to come in from Europe. They're going to play a pyro on the gun, kind of just reflect anything. They don't get any pressure. Soldier and Secret gets sniffed out, but he's done a good job stalling. Going to buy some time. A lot of cap time coming in, and it's going to be on Australia. 3 seconds on the round timer. A lot of trades coming out. It's in favor of Australia getting the cap time, and that is going to be the first round. And Australia needs to get something going here. They need to.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just that pressure cooker is what was the catalyst. I mean, they ended up getting the force. Wow, look at this production at Saigon 2025. We have the stage player cams. Look at how averagely motivated these players are. They're not no energy at all. They're so excited to be beating Australia's finest.
They're locked in.
They are so dialed, it's not even funny.
It's just an average day for them, you know, just come
I mean, yeah. Big ball on the Enrith early.
Ball's landing.
His ball, shout out to Balls Lansing. Hugo going to find Silva, but Enrith's going to immediately get a trade out. Poppy going to find Cookie as well. And again, Connor is on to auto. He's going to find it. No one with him. Tomas a little bit too far forward after a pretty easy mid-win on the side of the Europeans, but Connor just by himself, again, finds another kill on the auto. That's 2 for 2 in terms of medic deaths on mid. But again, like we said before, no matter what the Australians can seem to do, it does not seem to really benefit them.
And they're going to have Uber to push in the middle. But with that, goalie watches a map where you can make these little mistakes and just mess up, get back out, get forced, get nothing with this Uber. It looks like we're going to see the most stereotypical Uber, a demo pogo through big door with Uber. They're going to try and get on anyone, but they know it's coming. No one is going to get picked at all, and it's just going to allow for another leapfrog for you.
Yep, I mean, not the worst thing in the world for the Europeans. Oh man, 2 for 2 on balls across the map so far. But so far, so good. Nothing really happening. Just a little stalemate as Witness Gaming EU builds their last little bit of Uber charge here. About 15% off of full charge here. And again, 20 minutes, about 21 minutes left in the game. How is Europe going to get into this mid? It looks like Poppy is going to jump into elbow here, create a little bit of a nuisance for the Australians as you have Down trying to make a little bit of space for his team. Going to take a ton of damage. Is going to eventually clear. That's Connor, excuse me, as the flank from Witness Gaming EU is also going to find Silvo, and they are going to be barreling their way through big door already as Witness Gaming Australia is already back to us. I would have liked to see maybe a river rotation, maybe just try and spam a little bit, but look at this aggression from the Europeans. They are already in lobby, and Australia wants nothing to do with it.
Oh, instantly just going to be a trade 1-for-1. But so far, I think the main thing I've seen with Europe is they're completely fine. They want to take these slow pushes, walking in, forcing players to make a move on their entire mob, and they get them in for free. It's going to be an Eva Uber trying to get the gun down right away, which is going to allow for the rest of the team to make a play. A player already in water, and cleaning up that scout is going to allow for a little bit more room. Ixie might have to leave, and he is going to get out. But with the pressure cooker, if you can push one of these doors forward and get a kill, it will kind of stop and stump the entire aggression there.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just comes down to how can Hugo and Ixie, create as much pressure as possible, as well as Poppy. Lucas's job is just to try and find an angle where he could just lay stickies on the map and just make it uncomfortable for the Australians to kind of just like exist here. But as we get ready to see our first sack or pressure cook here, Hugo is slowly skilling his way, going to come back at another buff after taking a little bit of damage from Enrith there.
Always annoying. Whenever you get a buff and then someone pokes you, you have to go back, and it's just constant. But once again, we're going to see Ixie go into water, and what I'd love to see is the spam coming out onto the gun again. Everything coming together, the gun just barely going to live. They're going to get Poppy, and every time they get a pick like that, it's just going to extend the time of this round. We're going to see 2 minutes is probably going to be when we see another full opportunity of a push, and the more they can defend, the closer they are to resetting back to mid and getting out of this position.
Yeah, I mean, so far, this pressure cooker, I would like to see maybe get a little bit of cap time first, just divert a couple eyes away from these doors so the pressure cooker can be a little bit more effective here. Maybe get Ixie in water, maybe get that pain train going, you get a soldier in water, bomb from point onto the medic as the gun is hopefully being destroyed in that same moment. But again, here comes the pressure. Lucas is going to get the gun. Here we go. We have Ixie in a good spot in water here. He is going to get met by a soldier.
Hugo.
Dancing. Good try, though, from Ixie. Hugo in.
Still
Lau. Ballsy from Lau there, because he just stared in the face of death. And ended up getting that kill there onto Ixie from down.
Yeah, I don't think Lau minds the view of death. And it definitely is a
hell
risky
no.
scenario. But he's fine milking there, and that allows them to stay on last. Once again, that sack rolls out. That's another 30 seconds down. And it's going to force. Oh, that's a lot of damage. That could be a pick onto Lucas, but Lucas gets out here. It's a crazy pipe on the down on the way out. But now we're going to see another opportunity. The closer we get to this time being up, it's going to mean that the side of that team of Europe needs to make a bigger play and make some bigger risks.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see an off class here. I mean, something we do like to see in NA a lot is a heavy in the post, where you have a heavy kind of just come in right after the Uber and just lay down lead. We're going to see Ixie trying to edge the cap, but Witness Gaming Australia doing a much better job here of kind of just dealing with this pressure cook. They are getting these kills much faster, but again, we actually saw Tomas in lobby, but again, Red is actually going to get forced. We have Otto getting forced from behind. That's going to be Connor in behind right now. He is going to find the force, and I love this positioning because now they are so, whoa, they know he's behind. They're just, whoa. They completely forgot about Connor there, but the back cap is going to get stopped by down there. A little scary, but at the end of the day, kind of forgetting about Connor there, and he's going to pick up 2 very key kills for his team.
Yeah, Connor just looking like a standout player so far today, and he's just been doing a great job. And now it is going to be all on the fact Lau can now drop here. I beg. Like, we want to see an opportunity. We're going to see them try and... Oh, Toe is in a very good spot. I don't think they understand where he is. He's going to be behind. If they're going to be spamming on this medic, this could be a one-shot.
They got the force.
They get the force. 2 behind. Toe and Hugo behind. They should know
terrible
Hugo's there, so Toe's going to have to bait it. But this
has to be
behind.
perfect. This has to be perfect from the Australians. I love it.
Not know?
Stopping the cap instead of going for the medic is absolutely what they needed. Tomas, where's
Tomas is waiting. Tomas sees the medic. Tomas connects.
Oh, please. I love it. I love it. Absolutely just surgical from Tomas. Well baited Hugo. Perfectly. That could have been a blunder from Tomas, but he gets the maximum amount of value from that. Hugo stopping the point with Tomas getting the kill onto the medic and Silvo on sniper. Kind of in a rock and a hard place here because Uberad is huge. Oh my God. And now this is scary.
I don't think they know. Headshot rolls out. The medic barely slips away. Poppy taking one for the team, allowing...
Get down, Mr. President.
Yeah,
I mean, this is just such an intense game.
Silvo has hit a shot. He has begun, and we're gonna see, is he gonna keep continuing? Uberad's still there for Europe, but they're gonna have to pop. They're rotating towards that shutter or that wood door, and they're gonna have to just send it. Here comes the demo bomb. The sniper is caught. Enmith is caught. They're gonna get 2 players for it, and that should clean up.
Oh my God.
What?
Silvo gets out. Oh my God, he hits a surf and gets out. Oh my God, and he's gonna take down Lucas. Unbelievable from Silvo. Oh, if he hit that, I would have been over, but that disgusting from Silvo, gonna find that kill. I mean, it's just exactly what we needed. Again, auto dead, Lucas dead, no traps, but look at Tomas here. He is on an adventure currently. I love this. This is such an off-timing thing from Tomas. He understands.
Spawner's gonna come in. I don't know. He may miss this timing. They should be able to spot him. He's gonna get in from behind now.
Oh, he has it.
On the medic. Some damage already out. They're gonna spot him out. He's gonna hit so much damage, but Lau lives with 20 HP and some light coming on to Enrith. It is just terrifying watching what is happening here. But Australia in a position of power. They have 60 ad, and this is where it all matters. It doesn't matter how many last pushes you get if you can't execute on them. They need to be able to get a pick. They need to get some caps up. They need to make something happen going straight through main. Gonna try and get this gun down. 2 players actually in water.
Poppy's
Europe
dead.
opting for a very big bunker hole. Demo in water, just waiting here. Down gonna go down once again. But we're gonna slowly wait, and the longer they take, the closer the Uber comes. And the Uber is up from Europe, and this should just be wraps for Europe to win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, Connor does do a great job getting the Force as like a pseudo consolation prize, but again, I would have liked to see maybe Silvo or Cookie taking a flash of that Uber, going into water, dealing with Lucas, as you know, he is unbuffed, completely isolated from his entire team. Could have had an opportunity to get a pretty early demo kill, but trying to just get some free kills. But again, Tomas abusing unlocks. Welcome to North America as we decide to play with the scored shot. That item is
It's
egregious.
not that bad.
Oh, it's
not
egregious.
that bad.
No, it's egregious. It's egregious.
Get over it.
It's egregious.
But we're going into last again. We got a 30%
Average
ad.
fan.
They need to get onto point. Now that they know Lucas is going to play water, a giant bomb. For
There we go. What did I say? There it is. Cookie finding 2.
And that is the downside with playing on the point with the demo. There's so much damage, and there goes the entirety of Europe.
I mean, we've spoken into existence. Take a flash, kill that demo, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, Lucas is going to fall early as well as Cookie finds 2 kills with that Uber with 2 people playing in water. 1-1 game. We have a game in our hands, friends. We have another big mid. I'm going to get my eyes on Lucas. I just love watching him play demo, man. He's so good. Okay, well, why do I even talk?
You know,
man? Why
he's
do I
not here to
talk?
jump. He's here to shoot. So
That's
you know,
true.
He got
Valid.
as long as he gets to mid and alive, then he's in a good spot. Gonna start chucking sticks across the point. Soldier in drop down. If they get this timing, this could be catastrophic. He's gonna come in from the flank.
Oh
A lot of damage.
my.
Big, and Lau all the way in big door alone. No one's there to help out, and that's the enemy team's big door. Even though Lau is gonna have some help, it's just going to be those 2 stuck behind. It's going to see a medic 2v2. Auto already really weak. Here comes Cookie. Cookie going to get the pick, and that is going to even out the situation. And even it's not a great mid for them, but they at least trade medics, which is going to allow them to at least stay on last with even Ubers. I don't think they're going to be able to take 2.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a little more forward aggression, maybe from Lucas, get some traps and knowing that, you know, a lot of players are down, but opting to play it safe, doesn't want to get put in a position where he might be getting killed. But it is going to be even here as Poppy is already on 2 here. He is telling his team, guys, let's get in, let's fight, as the heals and spawners are slow. But big bomb here coming in from the Australians, double bomb as well from down. And Connor here, Tomas gonna find Silvo, but 3 kills going into the favor of the Europeans here. Poppy gonna fall after already doing the damage he needed to do, and scurrying back to last with Tomas already behind. This is if he dies, that's a little scary, but is gonna get out pretty much unscathed.
Yeah, Tomas getting out. But a great play from Europe, gonna take that point. Even Ubers, a slight ad from Australia, but I think that's just, they were dealing with better. But once again, gotta see a stalemate be broken.
Yep, I mean, we're going back to the usual pressure cooker. Ixie is already in a pretty comfy, cozy spot here, looking to get into water here, probably to just be as much of an annoyance as possible. But look how annoying Ixie is. They already have a soldier pretty much perma on the point for him already, but he's gonna take this one. Whoa, big 1v1 from Ixie.
Lau dropped.
Oh, he did drop, you're right, I completely missed it. Yeah, this is already over. I mean, I didn't even see. I was too busy being mesmerized by Ixie. Just thought, Lucas is just filthy, bro. Just destroyed the server. But I was just in awe with how Ixie just took a 1 with a soldier in the worst possible point in the map and ended up coming out on top with 8 HP.
But once again, Lau getting picked by a Hugo bomb, and just, it's a heartbreaker. You can't keep having this happen and expect not to lose this game. They're gonna need to have a good mid here. Lucas still, the rollouts aren't the cleanest, but he's gonna get to mid. And once again, are we gonna see a drop down play? Both these teams love sending a soldier up drop down. A lot of damage already out to Lau. He's gonna get up elbow. Both soldiers getting a little bit aggressive. Europe is in directly and not letting any room. Lucas allowed to walk across point with that pressure, and they're going to full wipe, losing just Lucas for that middle.
Yeah, I mean, again, full wipe. Lucas trading 1 for 6. If I'm on the Europeans, it's not the worst thing in the world. About 9 minutes left in the game here for the most part. And it's again, looking like a great spot for the Europeans as Lau also dying that mid. It is going to be Silvo taking a good opportunity here. I like this.
Yeah, and we're going to see the Uber ticking up for the side of EU. They're going to have an opportunity to kind of push out, or push into last, and we're going to see Silvo coming in. He's going to at least probably get 1 soldier. That's a good pick. And it's going to cause a little bit of chaos. The gun going to be going down. No cap time coming out. A little bit. Silvo just going to be in the flank, trying to get on the demo. Now get the stab of Butter. Stabby. The little French pistol not doing much damage, but the rest of the team cleaning up the last hold. And Lucas just doing so much damage, just does not want to leave. He just pulls out the sword and he's just walking around now.
Wow. I mean, it's just crazy that how hectic this game is. There's just chaos pretty much every fight, especially on these last pushes. Silva was about 3 seconds too slow with that spy timing. Did end up getting his consolation prize, which did, impact the round for sure. But here we go. Witness Gaming Australia going to be slowly marching their way through the choke, looking for any possible sticky traps or threat to Lau's existence. Poppy is going to fall. Hugo is going to help get the force, but again, Lau being diligent and not letting go of that Uber charge, not dropping, thankfully. The also going to hold it, and again, going to pretty much slowly convert into a 2-push here.
Yeah, Lau not looking at that soldier gave me a little bit of a heart attack, but the Ubers are going to be even, and Europe has been shown to want to take these trades, not give anything up for free. Ixie going to go down in the back lines, and they're trying to juggle some players in, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to lose Connor. Cookie taking a 1v1, a trade from Poppy. Poppy with the 1v1 there, and it's going to allow for Europe to take back second. And Australia and Europe are going to even Ubers. And Tomas wants to keep pushing the advantage. Seeing what's happening, he's going to notice that it's not going to be it. And he's going to take a step back, build Ubers back up, and we're going to see another stalemate.
Yeah, I mean, Connor is, down, trying to find their way to get into this sack eventually here. They're going to be just pretty much waiting. I mean, there is a small ad. It's about 15 ad here.
Down jumps in, gets a lot of damage on auto. I love the off-time sack. It does not turn into much, but we're most likely not going to see anything too crazy from the Europeans. They want to get Uber, and we're just going to see another scenario. How is Australia going to do it? Are we going to see the Silvo sniper again? That seems to be their kind of main way, or they're going to break these scenarios. But it looks like I think Silvo's going to be going back to go sniper, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Silvo is going to opt in to try and break the stalemate here a little bit, which I don't really mind. There's 7 minutes left in the game. You're down around here. How is going to be? I think sniper here is going to be what you need here. So Silvo here trying to get a nice angle here. Is going to hit 150 onto Poppy. Poppy immediately jumping away after that. Scared for his life, as I would be too, peeking a sniper as good as Silvo. Ooh, nice little pipe there.
Puts him in a good spot there, though. Juggles him straight in. And Lucas peek at the corner, and the sniper is such a good way to pressure. You cannot go across this entire area, and you're forced to kind of keep spamming this. What I'm expecting to see is I feel like at some point, Tomas and Otto are going to pull the trigger, shove through. But it looks like both Ubers get traded out. Silvo going to die. The flank pushed through onto middle. The fight has moved to middle instead of second. And we're going to see just a bunch of kills falling down from Australia and a flank coming in. It's Cookie trying to build. Lau going down late. And all of Australia going to be going down.
I mean, unfortunately from Connor, had an opportunity. I mean, Silvo Sniper, not as, I mean, I don't even know.
Lucas moved to the next spawn. This is crazy. He dead from last, and he's going to be on the next one if they come out this door. No one came out this door. This is, Lucas is in a weird situation. No one knows. He's going to He's gonna get picked late.
I mean, not the end of the world for Lucas. I mean, I don't really think it's going to amount to too much, especially because the Uber is largely in favor of Tomas here and friends. But at the end of the day, Tomas is going to try to play this door. Again, there's just so much ad coming in from Otto. He's so close to this Uber charge. I would love to see something. Oh my God, Otto super low going to hold the Uber charge. But Tomas he wants it so bad. If they had that Uber 3 seconds earlier, he was ready to take it in gung-ho as Tomas is already in, going to take a pipe. He is going to fight a soldier in secret that is going to be down, falling down. Unfortunately, Tomas having a chariot Uber here, trying to do as much damage as possible. It's going to be a huge picks coming out with Hugo and friends going to get kills, but Enrith and Silvo finding 2 of their own. But again, Tomas going to find a kill, and this is going to should be a round as Tomas is taking it nice and slow, going to kill 1 more. Connor going to fall, and that's going to be a round.
Tomas looking clean out there. And just a great round from Europe. Australia with 1 round on the board, but that's all it seems they're going to be able to get at the moment. There's still 5 minutes left. The game is not over. There is time to get it back together. But honestly, what I want to see is they need to take a little tack pause, talk about what's going on, because things clearly are not going entirely in the way they would want it to be. Enrith rolling out to middle, and I do want to see some aggression from the side of Australia, making the move instead of just sitting here and getting blown up right away. An aggressive bomb from Hugo, putting some pressure out. Gonna take a lot of damage. Another bomb from Poppy. Poppy's gonna trade. Poppy's gonna get 2 off of that in the mid, instantly going in the favor of Europe. And Australia just not having any space to breathe and even live in these scenarios. The cutoff already coming through. Somebody in lobby. The medic gonna get blown up. Hugo with a huge kill, and that's a full wipe. And gonna give the perfect scenario for Europe to push last with full Uber out. Hugo still going. I don't know how I feel about this one. They're gonna get a lot of damage out, but they want to spawn camp so badly. Lucas is down. I do not agree with this. They didn't even have mid yet. And they're gonna lose Lucas down, which he's gonna be able to spawn. They're gonna still be able to push last with Uber ad, but it's just gonna take a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is just a prime position for Witness Gaming EU. They are pretty much in the driver's seat this game. It looks like they found a stride. They've been consistently kind of dominating Witness Gaming Australia right now. And again, a full disad coming in from the Australians. And we're kind of taking our sweet time a little bit here. I guess we're dealing with Silvo behind, which kind of questionable to be behind there. It's unfortunate he is going to have a super late death, but here we go. Anyway, Lucas and friends are going to be coming in with this Uber. They are going to find Connor. Tomas going to fall. Poppy finding down as well. Hugo going to be bombing in, going to be getting a ton of damage, and this is going to likely be a round win for the Europeans as Hugo's kind of just shooting the floor, stick out in hand, Ixie finding 1, and it is a 4-1 game for the Europeans. 1 round left. This is the first time we're going to be seeing a 5 in this day today, so pretty nice from the Europeans. You got to like it. You know, your map pick showing why you picked it to begin with and absolutely walking over the Australians so far.
Yeah, Europe just showing they're here to play some business here, and this could be an opportunity for them to close it out, but this is going to be a huge hurdle for Australia. They need to turn something around. And I would love to see a pause. Like I say, people make fun of Bandy for doing it, but it gives you some time to think. And right away down, gonna take it in his own hands, take the auto down. And the rest of Australia gonna try and close out some of these kills, but they let Loud die. And that whole advantage, even though they're gonna most likely win this middle, they don't have an Uber ad to work with. And it's just gonna be another stalemate scenario. Lucas down late though.
Yep, I mean, we saw it on Snakewater where, you know, the Australians were able to get these mid wins, but not able to convert after the fact. But again,
the 2 players in on the med! Loud
no, my God, not gonna find it though. That is a blunder from the Australians here, or the Europeans, excuse me, where Ixie and Hugo, for once, not able to get their man and trying to 2v1 Lau. But this is a good opportunity for the Australians to get something back here, maybe get themselves around on the board. You know, a couple late deaths here. I would like to see a little bit more forward presence here, trying to peek last, stop this gun from getting built if at all possible. But it is going to be about a 15 ad for the Europeans, but doubtful we're going to see anything come from it.
Yeah, and they're just going to try and buy some time for this gun to get built. On the medic.
Otto's
going to go down. 2 picks on the medic. The cap time instantly coming out. The rest of Australia is going to back out. They just don't have the Uber up quite yet. But they're going to reset the scenario, get that Uber, get back into a situation. And once again, this all comes back to they need to win a last push. They need to close this out.
Yep. I mean, Witness Gaming Australia has been struggling for these last pushes multiple times. I mean, we've seen it before with the Scorch Shot, creating some havoc against the Australians, and we have Ixie on the Pyro class here, ready to defend his sentry gun at all costs. And as the Australians are slowly but surely making their way through River, as Otto already at 50% Uber charge.
He's going to play close on this door. I do like this play. Going to get the reflex. Going to take a lot of damage right away. Going to try and buy some time. He's going to go down, but buys a little bit of time. The Uber at 70% for Europe. That is the clock they have to work against. Cap time rolling out. The gun actually in water. This is actually a really good counterplay. They're going to have Lucas in water with the gun. The gun's going to go down. Lucas taking so much damage.
Great job from Silvo.
They're trying to buy time for this Uber, but Otto has no one to heal. They're going to... Tomas getting 4 on this last one on the Engineer.
I mean, Silvo, unfortunately, also finding 4 himself. I mean, Silvo kind of dominated that whole last push. Tomas, I mean, three bullets in the Frontier Justice, getting 4 kills. I mean, Silvo doing everything he can to try and find something. We just entered continuous overtime. Witness Gaming Australia need to take 4 rounds. But wow, Luke is going to kill himself as Silvo does a ton of damage. And again, is also going to survive here. I mean, if you're the Australians, you have to get something here, whether it's a force or something, as they do find it with down. I mean, Silvo again in a great position. Oh, Marmalou, this is, I think we might see a round win here. No, we are not, as we are disciplined on the side of Witness Gaming EU. Hugo standing on the point, Ixie on last as well, as the Australians, tail between the legs, already pretty much running out. But Witness Gaming Australia finding a little bit more life in this game, but is it enough to get 4 straight rounds against the second favorite of the tournament?
Yeah, and out on the side of Australia, they're going to take this early. I love that. They're most likely going to get this point for free and roll this Uber into last. The entirety of EU trying to get out. There's no gun, there's no sniper, there's no heavy already set up. This is going to be a prime opportunity for Australia to rush it in and try and make some space. They're going to spawn it. Heavy and a Pyro, just a makeshift defense. The Cap Palm 2 is going to roll out. And they've not saved enough Uber to kind of deal with the demo in water. And now Lucas is going to be able to stand here and just buy time. Uber is ticking up so much damage from Edwards. They're going to get 2 players down, the force coming out, and they're going to get some players into water and get this a little bit chaotic. 4v4.
I mean, you have no reason to just not refight this. I mean, time is against you right now. I mean, you have 4 minutes almost to try and win this, but the Australians, even though we are down a soldier and a scout, a 4v4 on last, I would have liked to see maybe a little bit of poking or a little bit of peeking, just because, you never know, maybe they, Enrith hits a couple pipes onto the heavy, good focus fire, but again, another minor ad here, about a 25 ad on the side of the Australians, but again, not able to convert. They're not taking these Ubers into the demo man in water here. They're not getting these kills that could considered be kind of free. Silvo gonna come in here. There's Pyro doing a ton of work, but Tomas already back in spawn on Pyro. They're finally using the Uber for the heavy or the demo and soldier. Silvo not able to find these kills cleanly, is gonna fall, and 4 kills immediately into the favor of Witness Gaming Europe, and it is going to be another lost last push, Marm.
Yeah, and they're not focusing anything in particular. They're going there, standing there, and not getting cap time. When you have that small of an ad, you need a med pick, or you need the cap time, or you just lose. As soon as that Uber ticks up, the fight is over, and Europe did not even need to pop it in that scenario. They're going to double sticking through. I don't think they're caught. Lau is not ready for this. The big kill from Silva is going to allow for Lau to stay in. And the rest of Australia wants to keep fighting this. Europe is not ready for what's about to happen. Hopefully the players can come in to help out, but Otto going down, Tomas going down, Lucas going down, and so much damage on the rest of Europe. And this is what Australia...
Look at Hugo, look at Hugo. Hugo is in behind here. He is... Oh, he's on last. Oh my god, I'm bugging out. I, for some reason, thought... Oh, but the door anyway! He picked the right door. Guess I thought Hugo was behind, but I technically kind of was behind in a sense, because he also just kind of dominated. That's why I was like looking at like the map. I was so like...
Ooh, they're getting some cap time. The scouts on it. They're gonna get the cap. Barely. Poppy could have won that if they didn't get the cap out.
Oh,
but
wow.
Australia would take that. They do not care. A round win is a round win. And they're, once again, down in that last round. 2 picks right away onto Otto. And Down's going to keep these miracles up if they want to keep going in this game.
I was so confused with Hugo, like just on his own last wall, like, he was pretty much cutting off the entire team, but it still wasn't enough. But Enrith here, looking to try and have a little bit better of a mid here to get some early damage out onto Otto, which he is going to hit a nice little 38 damage sticky on it, which is going to allow Down to get a free kill onto it. But again, 3 already falling, and we've seen it time and time again where the Australians, you know, go for the medic, get that kill, and then they try to refight. But Enrith, whoa, a little bit of a disconnection here from 2. It shouldn't really amount to anything. Wow, it's safe and sound, but another situation.
That is a tricky trap. You always are a little scared about those. You see a cone or some rock, and like there could be stickies in it. And if they're not ready, this could be a big pick. Lucas is not going to have a spot on it. Blind debts it, does not get it. You know, I think he's clean. Nothing in that computer. No word.exe to give him some free kills there.
I mean, Sin Karma, on the other hand, probably would have killed all 6 with that sticky trap, but unfortunately he's not making it this lane. Ixie is going to help find a kill there onto Silvo as the flank shove is going to try and happen. Down is going to find one. He should find Ixie here as well, which he does. Great flank hold from Down by himself, 1v2, doing it his way as they combo on the other side of that. Loud taking a ton of damage. The health is in favor of Witness Gaming EU as Silvo is about to spawn. Tomas going to find Cookie in the back of the map here as Witness Gaming EU are contemplating on if they want to take it to 2 here. Tomas a little overextended, doesn't really matter as he is playing the scout class and going to immediately kill Down, and this is going to end up being a Witness Gaming EU second cap with about a 40 ad here.
Yeah, once again, we need, if you have a slight ad, you need to get the cap, you need to get a med pick, or you need to get a bunch of kills. Europe is going to be peaking, but it doesn't look like they're posturing to actually go off this 90% that they want to go. They need to get something good. This could be disastrous. He's already ticking up. They're going to pop right back through that door. Tomas trying to get on point. There's a soldier in water, going to be able to clear this out. And there's 2 players in water. Connor not in a great health position, going to trade some damage out. Everybody on the side of Europe is very, very weak, and it's just going to take these 3 players to hold it, but a lot of damage from this Hugo bomb, and the rest of Australia is stuck behind this point.
So bad.
And it's going to be a kill range for Lucas to hit some stickies.
Look at
But
Ixie.
there's so much
Look at
damage
Ixie.
everywhere, Enrith with the clutch 2 pipes, allowing for them to hold that last.
Ixie was probably, if he had over 100 health, he probably wins that. Enrith is going to pipe him. They are going to trade out in the grand scheme of things, but Ixie had a perfect timing through water. But again, Auto with the slight Uber ad again, about a 20 ad here. Usable. Witness Gaming EU has had these slightly better pushes into Witness Gaming Australia's last, and it is going to be a do or die here for Witness Gaming Australia. Again, dropping into this loser bracket is going to be horrific because, again, we have G6 and Balls LAN team playing right now, which who knows who's going to fall into lower bracket with that. But again, this Uber is about to get absolutely, it is pretty telegraphed. It is going to get popped out here though. 80% for the Australians. Here comes Tomas. He's going to take the flash. Is he going to go for the soldier? But no, he's not going to get reflashed to kill the soldier here. But again, 3 kills going in favor of Witness Gaming Australia. And again, the Uber not getting used, in my opinion, as efficiently as possible. But Auto is going to end up having a super late death with a wipe.
Down has been coming up with these clutch plays over and over again. He does not want to go to the losers bracket right now. But right now, Tomas does not either. Tomas on the sniper. I think he's just in that forward spawn. They go down, drop down. Oh, the med's there. Great job from Enrith sticking off that forwards. And Lucas is going to get punished and caught out.
Silvo chased him into lower lobby. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. This is an amazing Uber from Silvo. Put this man on combo scout, finding 3 kills in total with the pick onto Lucas. And that is a amazing Uber. But look at Ixie on the big fella in the forward spawns. He's ready to lock it down. No one's going to cap 2. But little does he know there's a giant fence. Oh, but the big fella going to stop second. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Look at the heavy. He's going to get the kill. Ixie, the big fella going to find 2. Oh my, the big fella picking up 2 key kills, and that's gonna honestly give Witness Gaming EU enough time to maybe hold their last. Hugo debating on stopping it, and I can't believe I just watched a heavy walk out of forwards and stop the cap when there's, oh man, that's a blunder from Witness Gaming Australia.
Hey, Highlander's looking for a heavy right here. But look, a crazy play coming out, allowing them to get some room to breathe. With that being said, Auto going down is going to mean a big ad for Australia, and we keep bringing it up. They need to get this last push going. They need to deal with this Lucas in water. They're stacking water heavily. Soldier and Demo in there means they need to spend their Uber very early to get that down. They're forced to spend a lot of time on the Pyro. Hugo with the huge flank on some damage, but the Pyro is going to go down, and that is about it. There is no gun up. It's just going to be heavy.
Hugo falls in water
Repunch.
as well.
Yeah, the Australian side scout all the way up through water, and they're going to slowly start going forward. The Uber's not anywhere near. Edward
Wow,
so
this
much
is looking
damage.
good for the Europeans. So much damage from Lucas and Poppy. And again, Tomas with the big fella of his own gonna find a couple kills there as well. But I mean, it's just so unfortunate the Australians are so close, but allow the 2-pipe. Enrith is ended up getting that 2-pipe onto Ixie, calling him GOAT. You know, game recognizes game. Ixie calling Enrith the GOAT. Lau, again, about to respawn as well. A massive, massive ad from Auto here as Tomas is looking to get in through choke here.
Yeah, and just they have a decent hold, and then it just all falls apart. Europe just a brick wall they cannot break through. A flank push coming in, and they're good. The cap time's all coming out on the middle. Connor down, drop down, trying to get on the met. The Uber is up for Auto, but Auto is untouched. 2 players down on Australia, and Europe is just going to clean up these 2 behind and continue into last, and they might be an opportunity to close out this game. Ixie hitting a player with the ball, closing that scenario out.
Yeah, I mean, again, another opportunity for Witness Gaming EU to pretty much close out this game here. I mean, it is going to be pretty much even. We are going to probably see an Uber check here. 98% almost for Lau, so we are probably going to see a last hold here. Tomas going to eventually get out of there. Lucas very low as well. They're going to try and get to his teammate as soon as possible here. But Connor on last, again, nice Uber check. I like it from Europe, but I would like to see another pressure cook. A 4-2 game. Pretty long overtime. We are starting to see, you know, the grind of this extended overtime config coming into play, where we've probably been on this map for about almost 45 minutes. Up a big bomb coming in from Hugo, I believe, is almost going to get Lau. A couple rockets getting out, but Ixie's going to fall. He is going to find Silvo. Whoa, Lucas is dominating with Tomas as well. Lau going to pick up Tomas as well, but it is just all up to Auto. And again, he has no heal target around. He is going to survive, but with no heal target, he is going to lose a lot of that even Ubers that he had before, as the Australians are barely pushing out of their own last here.
Spooked.
Yeah, they don't
like,
want to
is
lose.
he in a corner?
I don't like this. They're playing to not lose the game right here. They knew they should have won. They saw that it was just the
this is big. This is a big push from Wood. They're going to get on the med, but players dying on the sides. This could be a back cap scenario. A scout going to last. The only person there is a weak scout. Tomas with the wrap. A lot of damage, but going to get dealt with. But with that being said, they're on last 3v3. And only, well, there's a medic on the side of Australia, but Europe has the player advantage. On the fragging class, he's going to get a soldier on the point. Cookie with a great job. Scout onto water.
Oh, Enrith.
Enrith and Cookie just clutching up here, cleaning the entire scenario. And they're going to end up with 30% Uber, and that is a very stressful situation.
Yeah, Enrith kind of just boxed Lucas pretty aggressively there. I mean, wasn't able to find any value on that last push there. But I love that Uber from Witness Gaming Australia. They had a great Uber that found Auto dying at about 86% from Wood. But again, it is going to also transition to allow Witness Gaming Australia to take this midpoint here. And as well as we might eventually see them, oh my God, Lau, relax, big fella Lau. Gonna eat a pipe in, Cookie gonna also fall down, gonna fall, and they just randomly explode on the map at every different door possible.
Yeah, and just when things go well, Australia wants to flip it upside down.
Man, that's been the tale of this series, where Australia is just not able to get an iron grip on any of the situations.
Lau has the pop. They're gonna get Poppy down. The counter Uber's gonna be here. But the Uber's fading for the side of Australia, and they're still stuck in. The soldier kind of trying to commit, catch out Lau. Connor's going to go down. Lau's going to go down. Silva going to get the clutch kill on the medic.
Dead.
And there's a player behind, but it's going in favor of Australia. Silva with the scouts, both Silva and Tomas with a rough fight over there.
I mean, Lucas had an insane pipe onto Enrith, which ended up securing that kill. But again, the only saving grace for the Europeans in this case is, again, where Lau ended up dying. That would have been a really rough position if Lau was able to hold on to most of that Uber charge. But even Uber's pretty much dead even. But, ooh, I like this from Lau, actually. A little cheeky decision here.
We haven't seen this at all.
Yeah, this is actually the first time we are seeing man, it's just,
Yeah,
we're
change-up,
seeing
yeah.
this. Yeah, a little bit of a change-up here from the side of Witness Gaming, Australia here. But again, how is Witness Gaming EU? Because normally we have been seeing the spy checking certain things pretty efficiently, but we did not see it this time around. So if we're getting on the eyes of Enrith here momentarily. Oh my God,
That's
you
not a
can't
great
allow
pick,
that
but
to happen.
this may have them be a bit more relaxed. Gonna pop out here. Does not connect the sticky, and it's not gonna look good. Oh, he hit someone.
Hits
Well,
Tomas.
already one down is not gonna be enough for this fight. They're gonna have to leave. And the problem with going crits is now they are stuck on crits. They are gonna never have that invincibility. And WGEU just needs to wait for the scenario, see when the crits comes up. They're gonna walk into River. These stickies, I don't think were spotted. A lot of damage. The medic gonna be caught out. Lau gonna take so much damage. Toe's taking some time, gonna get the kill. They're gonna try and go back, clean up these players behind. One soldier left on last. Backcapping. He's not connecting the rockets, he's gonna go down. And that's a full wipe on Australia, 6 up and 6 down.
Yeah, I mean, again, great job from the side of the Australian or the Europeans, kind of just seamlessly dominating Lau. Again, another situation where Lau was caught out by a post-uber here on his end.
The Toe comes in to help, and they're going for the spawn camp, and that should be Raps. What a play from Europe, not allowing them to breathe and punishing that scenario, and they are just pedal to the metal, going for everything, and Europe is looking dominant at the moment. Connor with a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough. 30% add on Europe. Enver's going to go down. It's going to basically spell disaster unless some miracle happens, and a miracle is not trading 1-for-1.
I mean, I'd like to see a little bit more aggression from the side of the Europeans, but this could be the nail in the coffin from the Australians. ×2 on the cap, and there you have it. Witness Gaming Australia going to fall into the lower bracket with the angered Froyotech Demons. And again, honestly, if I'm the Australians, I wouldn't be too worried, as you did take a pretty good win against Froyotech. But now again, you have this continuous config, and unfortunately, this has just been a slight disaster from the Australians. Not able to close out a lot of these last pushes. But other than that, it was a phenomenal series. Witness Gaming EU gonna prove that they are the slightly better Witness team, winning the favoritism from the big CEO.
Well, I think the main surprising thing is this was not the closest game. That G6 Balls team is still going. Map 3 right now, G6 is ahead. So WGEU has secured at least top 3. They're going to meet them in the winners final, and it's going to be on whoever wins between Balls LAN team and G6 to meet them. But yeah, like you said, Froyo's down in the lower bracket. They're angry, and Australia's going to have to go down there, and it's a lot.
I think they play each other soon, because I believe Froyotech beating the Hannah team or the Great team, I don't remember their name, forgive me. That gives them that gives Froyotech guaranteed 5th/6th place, and usually on this side of the bracket you would fall to play one of the other lower teams, where Froyotech and the Australians are going to have to probably battle for 4th place.
Yeah, and you don't want to have Australia in 4th place in the same sentence, because usually things lean that direction, which we want to break that prophecy, but right now it's not spelling out for a great time for these teams.
Exactly, but production, we are going to kick it over to the analyst desk. They are going to go over some of the stats for you guys and break down a couple other things. With a little bit, couple tech delays and a couple of pauses during the game, we are going to kind of speed it up a little bit. We appreciate you guys listening. Again, big shout out to Fireside and Saigon for setting up this LAN, making this possible. Again, we're going to kick it over to the desk. Amazing game. Stick in for the winners finals, where G6 and Witness Gaming EU are eventually going to be playing battle likely.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
That's right. I forgot.
If Balls LAN team is in the
The
situation,
Balls LAN team.
they can come out.
Hopefully, yeah, either Balls LAN team or G6 might be playing against the European to defend.
We'll see NAEU. Not the NAEU matchup usually you're looking for, but
exactly.
all right.
But I think that's it for us. We're going to kick it over to production. And other than that, great games from the 2 foreigners.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Oh man, that was something else. I think if you're an Australian fan, you're a little heartbroken. It looked like they had a lot of fight in them towards the end there, but just started out a little slow, slipped up on map 1, and you can't afford to make those mistakes. If you're a European fan, you're very happy, because you get to see that this dominance that they had was not just A1, and we can expect to see some performance out of them on day 2 as well. And if you're just a Witness Gaming fan, then probably have some mixed feelings. But yeah, what do we think about that series that we just saw?
Yeah. I actually want Ben to start by answering that one because you were
Sure.
hyping up
You-
your
yeah.
Euro boys.
Yeah, you were
yesterday.
saying the European fans are very happy. I don't know. I'm the token European here. I was very, very happy, particularly for that map one. It was so comfortable. It's been so good seeing them grow through the tournament. I mentioned in the pre-game, I think yesterday they started a bit slow, but then they ramped up, and they've kicked off today where they left off yesterday in that Froyo Tech series. And this is the strongest I've seen them play in a while. Like they are running at such good steam at the moment, and they are just, I don't know. How would you even play against these guys? We saw at the end, like, yeah, Witness Australia had a bit of a go back, but the Europeans, they've almost got some sort of like hive mind. They're so coordinated together. Their decision making, like, okay, Pappy obviously main calling is like lifting a lot of that, but the whole team, everyone on the same page all the time, instant, quick, intelligent decision making, and that's like for me the difference maker, and it's what makes this team so exciting to watch. And like I think they put on a great display this game.
Yeah, I think Witness Gaming really showed why they're such a hard team to beat. Witness Gaming AU kind of threw everything they had at them, especially as we saw in Gully Watch. They started turning up the heat towards the second half, going for back caps, going for really aggressive plays, and it worked for a bit, but EU, they adapted so quickly to that, and it just shows like no matter what you do, that team's going to be able to counter it coordinatedly.
Yeah, I do think that overall, especially on Gully Wash towards the end there, it was competitive in the sense that the Australians had many opportunities to push into last. They were setting up great situations to convert into actual rounds, but when the time came to flip that number, it didn't materialize. And that final last wall, usually was the last point, was just under lock and key from Witness Gaming EU. And despite being able to string together multiple strong plays and set up a really nice situation, the Australians unfortunately weren't able to actually turn that into a round.
Yeah, the weird thing is with that as well, like, we're seeing about the chances they've got, like, credit to these Australian players. Mechanically, they are phenomenal. I actually think in this game, I think their mechanics are better than the Europeans. I think they are, like, on a whole level to almost everyone else at this LAN. It's just these moments making a couple of wrong decisions in these pushes, maybe taking some unfavorable fights, and they're getting punished for it. But like, if you get them in like these situations where they thrive in these sort of chaotic, like DM heavy situations, these players, all of them on that roster, they are all so good at just making it work. But like again, it's so hard to get those situations down against the Europeans.
Yeah, and it's something we've kind of mentioned before. It feels like these teams, it's like a rock, paper, scissors, where in this case, WGEU was just the perfect counter with the consistency in the decision making. You know, some of these other teams, AU, I feel like, as you mentioned with the DM, has a better chance of leveraging that. But against EU, they're just so consistent with that decision making, and they just never gave an inch for that to really take hold.
Yeah, so on the topic of the Australians being close, but just somehow Witness Gaming EU finding a way to stunt whatever push is happening, I'd like to bring up the heavy play that we saw from the forward spawns committing out. So it's funny because heavy and forwards is not the rarest thing ever. It wasn't invented in that match, but you usually see the heavy peeking out and shooting someone on the point, which the scout was well hidden. So we saw the heavy commit out of spawn and get not one but 2 kills.
It's so good though, because on a map like Gully Wash, the cap zone is so close to the doorway, you can do it, right? On other maps, it'd be way harder. And also the fact that the scout who was above, I don't remember which scout it was, who was capping, they obviously couldn't see because they're behind the fence. And you hear the heavy, whatever, you hear the spawn shots, you think, oh, I'll hide away. And that means they're just not aware of the approach. And then, like, I don't know, in an ideal world, the scout wants to sort of draw that fight out, dodge around, like take a couple of jabs. But that scout has to cap that point fast, because in the
Yep.
meantime, on the last point, the Australians are trying to push in. They really need that cap to come through, and Ixie just completely blocks it. 300 points of just health on the second point. They have to move, and they just couldn't.
Yeah, I think on that Gully's second point, the reason that play was so smart is because it's kind of a mind game. When you open the shutter, no one wants to peek it because you're worried there's a sniper there, not a heavy. And so you just don't peek that door. And then when you hear it closed, you think they backspawned. But Ixie, he just ran out on heavy. I don't know how you could predict that. And then it was just too late at that point. I think when we kind of saw them first open the door, they were going to do what you said, which is just, or Wild Rumpus said, which was just shoot the scout on point. But when they didn't see them, that commit, and for the reasons we mentioned, it was such a smart play.
And I think, well, not just demonstrating Puda's power, but also showing that Witness Gaming EU, despite being a strong team cohesively as a team, they don't shy away from making individual plays when they need to happen. Because if you are only doing the safe plays, then that is, ironically enough, exploitable because you're, easy to anticipate. Whereas when Witness Gaming EU have their back against the wall and they are basically going to lose a round unless someone can stop two, Ixie finds an opportunity to step up and make that exact thing happen.
One thing with that as well, you're saying how people stepping up and making plays, it's not something like we talk about that much, particularly like in Europe. But Tomas is, I don't know, for some people, best scout in the world, best player in the world, certainly one of the top players in Europe on Pocket Scout. And he's known for sort of his really aggressive Uber charges, playing around the medic, just playing with the team's blob and just dragging them around with him and doing damage. But in this series, he had kind of a license to go and do his own thing a little bit. We saw on Gully Wash some really deep flanks, and he's thinking about like sort of these opportunistic off-book plays. Like Tomas was very, very comfortable going behind and really trying to stir up chaos. And they're sort of fluid in their roles. The Ixie in those situations, he's perfectly careful. He can go do Tomas's job in the combo. And that flexibility is really nice to have. And I think the Europeans showed it off very well today.